Ain't got no hoes in me. I be quick to run up, let it pop. Yo, actually still believe in gravity?
Now riding up the 7, clutching on the block. Got caught by the light on Mark quick, so I had to stop. Through the tent, seen a nigga at 7 seasons as an op. He ain't even peep, he don't know, we about to spin a block. His ass by walking down cottage, I tie my hoodie up. He don't even know what's about to hit him, he is sitting up. On the 9, I see a crowd of niggas, so I'm chasing shit. Saw one on fall, I'm thinking, ooh, I'm about to face the bitch. As I'm chasing,
Yo.
I'm in the bag and I'm chillin' with 2 thugs. Look at that girl, like, man, that bitch too hot. Shout out to all cause I got 2 gloves. Jumped off the porch, now I'm on the rooftop. Ayy, 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 ayy. Boomba, I'm in the bag and I'm chillin' with 2 thugs.
Si seulement j'avais su, je serais jamais resté. À trop vouloir aimer, on finit par détester. Et à force de détester, y'a trop de il faut.
I was told all the lights. We did that.
Set me free. Send my love to your new life. Treat her better. Gotta let go of all of our lows. We both know we ain't kids no more. Set me free. Send my love to your new life. Treat her better. Gotta let
So I was gonna start black.
Were you nervous when his
Where we from, bro?
Mom, Dad,
We have something to tell you.
you have a twin brother we never told you about.
When EA signed their exclusive NFL
So
deal 20
fucking
years ago,
bored,
something
man.
interesting
What the
happened. 2K
fuck?
Sports lost their beloved NFL 2K franchise, but instead of just taking the hit, they threw a counterpunch, buying the exclusive third-party MLB license and killing off EA's MVP baseball series. But the real story here wasn't about baseball or football. With NFL 2K gone, 2K Sports channeled most of their top developers and resources into what would become their new flagship series, NBA 2K. And nowhere was this more apparent than in NBA 2K6, specifically the next-gen Xbox 360 version. This wasn't just another basketball game. This was a pivotal moment that would change sports gaming forever. EA might have paid to win the football war, but they had no idea what they had unleashed in the basketball space. EA's NBA Live 06 on Xbox 360 was a complete disaster. While they would recover briefly around NBA Live 10, this was the beginning of the end, the catalyst that would eventually lead to the series' demise. And unlike EA with NFL games, 2K earned their basketball monopoly. They didn't pay for it. But monopolies always end up hurting consumers, and today's NBA 2K is a shell of its former self. I wish we still had NBA Live around to push 2K, because 2K6 shows exactly what happens when a studio does everything in its power to beat the competition. Imagine if 2K still had that drive today. Let's take a deeper look at NBA 2K6. NBA 2K6 introduced revolutionary new controls that would go on to define basketball games for over a decade after. The shot stick in the new ISO motion system completely changed how virtual basketball felt and played. Instead of simply pressing a button to shoot, you can now use the analog stick to mimic real shooting motions. Pull back and release for a jumper, or toggle away from the basket for a fadeaway. Even today, this mechanic feels natural and intuitive, and it's basically still an option. NBA Elite 11 tried to take these stick controls to the next level, and if you're curious about that, check out my video on that game. But it wasn't just about shooting. The new ISO motion system mapped all of your dribble moves to the left stick. Sprinting controls became dynamic. Trigger buttons acted as aggressive modifiers that changed how the game interpreted your movements. Want to sprint? Hold the trigger and move forward. Want to break in? Hold the stick back forward and hold the trigger pointing. It might sound complicated today, but it felt natural, especially compared to NBA Live's more rigid controls. Today we're used to the left stick stick being used strictly for movement, while the right stick controls dribble moves, so going back to NBA 2K6 takes a slight adjustment. But again, it's a pretty natural control scheme once you're used to it. And for 05, it was pretty innovative. Coming from a classic in ESPN NBA 2K5, 2K6's gameplay was simply on another level. Unlike modern sports games that focus on competitive online play and predetermined animations, 2K6 was all about simulation basketball. The AI was incredibly advanced for 05. You would see teams actually run their real offensive systems. The Suns would push the pace, the Pistons would grind it out, and the Spurs would execute their plays to perfection. Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire would destroy you with the pick and roll just like they did in real life. The game understood and replicated real NBA basketball. But what really set 2K6 apart was how it handled different play styles. Back then, sports games weren't focused on forcing one meta strategy for online play. In 2K6, you could play through your center in the post, you could run a motion offense, or even try to recreate Kobe's 81-point game if you wanted. There was no obvious meta build or intentional way to play, resulting in gameplay that felt more organic, as if the possibilities on the court were endless. The shooting mechanics deserve special attention. In modern 2K, you basically need to green every shot to score consistently online. But in 2K6, while timing mattered, basketball logic mattered more. Take a contested fadeaway with a poor shooter and you'll probably miss. But if you take a wide open corner three with someone like Ray Allen, that's likely going in with good timing. It felt like real basketball, where sometimes shots just don't fall in even if you do everything right, or they do fall when you do everything wrong. There's a good ratio of randomness that leads to a more sim-like experience. Defense was equally nuanced. The new strip and rip system let you use the right stick to reach with either hand, swipe down, or go for a clean strip. Unlike modern sports games where steals often feel random or scripted, 2K6 required actual timing and basketball IQ. Jump too early for a block, your man is scoring. Play lazy defense, the AI will absolutely punish you for it. The VIP system, which 2K originally created for NFL 2K, made its way to NBA 2K6 as well. This feature tracked everything about how you played, your tendencies, your go-to moves, where you shoot, your percentages, how frequently you pass. I mean everything, and created a profile that others could download and play against. Imagine being able to play against an AI version of your friend's playstyle, even when they weren't online. It's the kind of innovation we rarely see in modern sports games, yet roughly 20 years ago, that's what 2K was doing. The presentation was also incredible for 05. Despite losing the ESPN license to EA, 2K created their own broadcast style that some would argue was even better. The commentary from...
I haven't achieved all my ambitions. They've always been about more than just football. Even as a kid, I wanted to get my money right and have the financial freedom to support the next generation of athletes, just like my family supported me. I joined SoFi because they helped millions of members earn more money, save more money, borrow better, and invest for their ambitions. Join a generational player. SoFi, get your money right.
Reese's has big news. It involves lava.
Evan Harlan and Kenny Smith was dynamic and natural. A massive upgrade over Bill Walton's previous work. Sure, the product placement was a bit much with the power replays and Toyota starting line.
What you want, nigga?
But at least it felt authentic to real broadcasts. Even the little things showed incredible attention to detail. Players would actually get tired and need rest. The crowd would react naturally to the flow of the game. Timeouts felt strategic rather than just a way to stop momentum. The broadcast overlay showed relevant stats that actually matched what was happening on the court. The franchise mode association was completely revamped. You now had full control over your franchise. You could scout prospects year-round, bring them in for workouts, and actually play with them before the draft. Your assistant coaches and training staff actually mattered.
play
It
this
developed
shit.
young players through minigame drills that would improve specific attributes. This wasn't just a franchise mode, it was a general manager simulation, something that would eventually evolve into MyGM. The association mode wasn't just deeper than ever, it had improved logic behind it too. Team chemistry mattered. Players would actually
I'm on, nigga. Set it up.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Let's get into.
Life energy is a powerful weapon against evil.
Hopefully this shit goes through. That's not should be fucking tweaking. There's one more. Stays nice.
develop based on their potential and playing time. You would hire and fire coaches, trainers, even scouts. And unlike modern sports games that add features without proper testing, everything here mostly worked together perfectly. Want to develop a young point guard? Run him through dribbling drills, give him minutes against weaker teams, and watch as his attributes naturally improve. Your owner might want you to focus on profitability, or they might demand immediate success. Each team had their own unique goals that actually made sense for their market and situation. The underrated 24/7 mode was also back, now connected to the real-life EDC at Rucker Park. While some found it too arcade-like compared to the simulation gameplay of the regular modes, it added variety and gave you something different to do. Plus, the crib returned, giving you a place to show off your achievements and customize your experience.
This is Noble Drive, a new cardio-based running and training physical web from Noble that we're super excited about. There's a lot of philosophical conversations around what this should be. That initial intent was to be that sort of everyday running shoe that you could take in different environments. As we've tested it, we realized that it has a good amount of versatility and was way beyond where we initially started from a team perspective. So the main technology of the shoe is the Pebax foam that we use for the midsole. Pebax is one of the best materials from a performance perspective. It's very lightweight, it has great cushioning properties, but also has a really nice rebound effect with this energy pack. In the name of Noble and being really honest and straightforward in our technology, we wanted to use 100% Pebax. We didn't want to blend in with some other compound. It has this raw aesthetic, we wanted just to own it and to be honest about it. So we used 100% cellular Pebax and went all in. One side you can see is this
No microtransactions, no grinding for VC. This game was just basketball. Let's talk about the graphics, because this is where things get even more interesting. NBA 2K6 released on both the original Xbox and the brand new Xbox 360. Remember, back then, PS2 and Xbox games ran in 480p for the most part. NBA 2K6 on 360 was finally in HD, something we likely take for granted today. The 360 version looked incredible on the new at the time HD TVs, with detailed player models, realistic clock physics, and yes, even dynamic sweat that would appear as games progressed. 2K loves their sweat. Check out this commercial for the game from 05.
Ready like a Shaq Diesel tonight.
Wow, just look at all the sweat.
That's a hard working man. That's why he's sweating. Sweat. Shaq sweat's coming from a level on you right now.
Look at it, drip, drip,
Yeah,
drip,
drip. Automatic drip. That's money.
Yeah, this must have been the time when 2K's sweat fetish started. Every year, the only thing that seems to change with these games is how sweaty the players look. Do you guys think about sweat this much? Leave a comment if you're currently sweating. The lighting was particularly impressive, creating an authentic broadcast feel that wouldn't be matched for years. 2K14 would eventually perfect lighting, and as I showed in my last video comparing 2K14's visuals to 2K25's, somehow the lighting in NBA 2K has gotten worse since 14. But hey, 2K6 was before any of that. Meanwhile, EA was also making the jump to the Xbox 360 with NBA Live 06, and NBA Live 05 was an all-time classic, just like ESPN NBA 2K5. But while 2K built upon their solid foundation for the next-gen release, EA opted to start from scratch. The result? While Live 06 looked pretty, it played terribly. The animation system was broken, the frame rate was inconsistent, and they didn't even include a proper franchise mode. EA focused so much on graphics that they forgot about everything else. This would be the first year that 2K was obviously the better NBA game. 2K never looked back. EA had just killed NFL 2K with their exclusive NFL deal, but their attempt to compete with NBA 2K on next-gen hardware completely backfired. 2K6 proved that 2K Sports can not only survive without NFL 2K, but thrive. They took EA's punch and countered with a knockout blow of their own. The gameplay innovations, the deep franchise mode, the broadcast presentation, the new graphics, it all came together to create something special in NBA 2K6. This wasn't just another yearly sports game. This was 2K showing EA that they weren't bored. And while EA's NBA Live series would continue for many years, it never truly recovered. The foundation for NBA Live's eventual demise was laid right here in 2005. NBA 2K6 walked, so games like NBA 2K11 and 2K14 could run. It proved that losing NFL 2K might have been the best thing to happen to 2K Sports, forcing them to focus the majority of their talent on basketball. Sometimes losing one battle leads to winning a bigger war, and in this case, that's exactly what happened. As much as I wish we got to see a next-gen NFL 2K6. At one point in time, NBA Live and NBA 2K were neck and neck, fighting for market share. NBA 2K6 was when 2K finally jumped ahead of the competition without debate. Looking at 2K6 compared to NBA Live 06 on the Xbox 360 really shows the different philosophies of the two companies. EA focused on surface-level next-gen graphics, but forgot about gameplay depth. Their players looked shiny but moved like robots. Meanwhile, 2K focused on making their game feel authentic first, and then they enhanced the visuals to match. That's why NBA 2K6 wasn't just another sports game. It was a statement. It showed that you could make a deep, authentic basketball simulation that was still fun to play. It proved that transitions to new console hardware could be smooth and impressive, rather than the disaster seen at EA. It proved that losing the NFL license didn't break 2K. It actually might have made them stronger. And most importantly, it set a standard for what basketball games could be.
Pick your
From
hero.
ESPN NBA 2K5 through around NBA 2K16, 2K couldn't miss. But post 2K16, 2K has stagnated. It shouldn't be so refreshing to play this 20-year-old game, and yet it is. Modern sports games could learn a lot from NBA 2K6. No battle pass, no microtransactions, no forced online integration, no VC, no pack openings, no meta builds. Just pure basketball with a deep franchise mode and smooth, authentic-looking gameplay. It makes you wonder, have sports games really progressed in the last 2 decades since? Or have they just gotten prettier while losing their soul? Thanks for watching.
30 seconds. Battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area.
SCID stands for Severe Combined Immunodeficiency, and it means you're born without an immune system.
When someone wants to play a virtual game of NBA basketball, what game do they play? Do friends ask each other to come over and play live? Or come over and play 2K? If you caught a friend playing NBA Live, you'd probably make fun of them. Your first question to them would probably be, why? It wasn't always this way, however. When Electronic Arts released NBA Playoffs in 1989, They created one of the most successful franchises in the history of video games. Later called NBA Showdown, and in 1994 dubbed NBA Live, the series was once the NBA game of choice. It was the most well-received, most popular, and most iconic basketball video game of its time. Somewhere along the way, however, something changed. Greed and corruption got in the way. Ironically, Live's best shot at returning is to capitalize on its competitors' greed and corruption. But it's likely too little, far too late. NBA Live fell victim to stagnation and a lack of innovation. After being the top dog for so long, EA stopped trying. This led to sales dropping, fans leaving, and eventually, of course, desperation. Rebranding to save face, only to have it backfire so hard that they unrebranded. Hiatus after hiatus, false promises. The few fans they had left became alienated. The new fans who came to try something new left quickly. Loyalty was punished. Pain and misery were all that remained. NBA Live was really good. In fact, great. But it didn't last. Electronic Arts failed to understand that the bar keeps rising. With new technology comes new expectations. Sometimes, when competition rises, it brings out your best. Oftentimes, however, it doesn't. And then you lose. This is the story of how NBA Live lost.
Oh my.
Thanks to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. Unlike other wireless headphones, Raycon earbuds fit in my ears perfectly. I work out in them, go for runs in them, wear them while shopping. Man, I wear these all the time. What's great is that they start at half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market, and they sound just as good. Their latest model, the E25, is their best one yet. It has 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a compact design that provides noise isolating capabilities. They also come in many different colors to fit your style. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and you see celebrities like Snoop Dogg and J.R. Smith rocking these bad boys. Click the link in the description box below to go to buyraycon.com/softdrinktv and get 15% off your order. And once again, thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video.
I can't believe I caught that on camera.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
I didn't do this for the lights or the fame. I did it to pay it forward to the next generation of athletes and pass on the support my family gave me. I believe in SoFi because they give the same support to millions of members, helping them bet, borrow, and invest in their future. Because for most people, it's not about the lights or the fame. It's about their ambitions. SoFi, get more money right.
In 1989, EA Sports released a basketball game titled Lakers vs. Celtics in the NBA playoffs. A year after releasing their first football video game, John Madden Football, EA was looking to expand into other sports. Thanks to the early success of Madden, the NBA and EA partnered together to release the first officially endorsed NBA video game featuring real NBA teams and players. The game included stars such as Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Patrick Ewing, just to name a few. The first NBA playoffs game was a huge success, and despite some criticism for lack of difficulty, the game was a critical success as well. This was the first EA game to feature the EA Sports Network logo, which would eventually become EA Sports, and also the first basketball game to feature signature animations, including Charles Barkley's signature dunk, featuring 8 teams, 4 in each conference,
Oh,
and
hell
having a
no.
TV-style broadcast with commentary,
Get the
a
fuck
halftime
outta
show,
here.
and even showing lineups prior to the opening tip. The game was the start of something huge. The next game in the series, Bulls vs. Lakers in the NBA playoffs, was more or less the same. However, it introduced the instant replay feature and was also the first basketball game to feature NBA team logos on the court. After a few more releases, including Team USA Basketball and Bulls vs. Blazers, NBA playoffs rebranded to NBA Showdown in 1993, featuring every single NBA team at the time. Showdown was a huge step forward. Instead of saying Electronic Arts in the packaging, it said EA Sports for the first time. It was also the last game to include Michael Jordan until NBA Live 2000, and then in 1994, NBA Live was born. EA moved development duties from San Mateo, where the NBA playoff games were developed, to Vancouver, and NBA Live took off. NBA Live 95 innovated in many different areas, including features such as Create a Team and an all-new isometric camera perspective, which EA borrowed from FIFA. This game was iconic, garnering praise from nearly every media outlet and helping EA dominate the sports video game market. Live 96 continued building on the strong foundation of the series by adding a Create a Player feature, allowing users to input themselves into the game or create fictional characters. Once again, thanks to improvements in FIFA, EA borrowed from the soccer game once again to provide the ability to change the camera angle for multiple different options. Graphics also took a big step forward, as NBA Live 96 was the first live game to release on the PlayStation. While players remained 2D sprites, courts were rendered in 3D. The game was praised heavily for the introduction of Create a Player as well as the all-new post-up move. NBA Live did have some competition back then, most notably from the 3DO game Slam and Jam. But Live was a superior game, innovating further than its competition. Every year, EA Sports brought something new to the table. While Live didn't have the best graphics at the time, it was the most polished and complete basketball game. Live took a big step forward with NBA Live 97, which included revamped graphics. Player models were now rendered in 3D, and animations were motion captured from real NBA players. Kobe Bryant made his video game debut in Live 97, and the game once again received critical acclaim. Live 98 improved upon the game with new player models and faces based off of photographs of the players, along with a new passing system that is commonplace today, where you simply push a pass button and the game passes to the closest teammate. The game added some new game modes that changed the series forever, including a GM mode that allowed players to run a team by drafting players, and the three-point shootout was a fully playable game mode that could be played split-screen with friends or by yourself. This was the most successful NBA Live game at the time, selling more copies than any other EA Sports basketball game before. NBA Live was getting really good. NBA Live 99 added a practice mode and another new mode similar to 98's GM mode, where users could run a team for multiple seasons and their players would develop over time. This mode was the predecessor to franchise mode. While many of these features seem like obvious additions that we might take for granted in today's basketball games, they all came from somewhere, and that somewhere was NBA Live. The series was improving at an exponential rate, and without it, basketball video games would be nowhere close to where they are today. NBA Live 2000 introduced legendary players and brought Michael Jordan back into the game, but also added a one-on-one mode. Many longtime NBA Live fans consider Live 2000 to be one of the greatest entries in the series' history, with some even calling it the greatest live ever. Live 2001 was a step forward and 2 steps back for the series. This was the first NBA Live game on the PlayStation 2, and the graphics took a huge step forward, but there were some issues. There was no longer a franchise mode or the three-point contest. While the game was technically impressive, many were let down by the lack of depth. The game also had some oversights, such as a lack of a 5-second rule. NBA Live 2002 was similar and didn't fix many of the issues in Live 01. The series was starting to stagnate, and games like NBA 2K were improving and giving people pause before buying NBA Live. The game did bring franchise mode back, and it was deeper than ever, but the gameplay was still very flawed. The NBA had recently abolished the illegal defense call, allowing teams to run a zone defense as often as they wanted. This was a huge change for the sport, but in NBA Live 2002, you couldn't even run a zone defense. The game did fix the 5 and 3 second rule oversight from Live 01, but the game lacked a technical foul penalty, meaning there was not much of a punishment for committing these rule violations. The game wasn't without its pros, however, with new realistic dunk animations allowing players to body one another. The new franchise mode was deeper than anything competitors could offer at the time. Live, however, was no longer easily the top game. Other games were getting closer, and Live needed to make some big changes to keep their market share. Luckily for the series, EA Sports completely revamped NBA Live 2003, releasing an amazing game. Thanks to the introduction of the freestyle control system and taking the franchise back to its roots with a fun arcade-style gameplay. The gameplay was still mostly realistic, don't get me wrong, but it pushed fluidity and fun over complete simulation. An interesting note with this game is that the soundtrack went platinum, the first ever video game soundtrack to do so. NBA 2K3's franchise mode had surpassed Lives at this point, but it didn't matter. Lives gameplay was more fun and easier to pick up and play. The game appealed to the masses and was simply more popular. Live was faster, more fluid, and just felt natural to play. NBA Live 2004 featuring Vince Carter on the cover was one of the greatest entries in NBA Live's history. NBA Live 04 took some of the criticisms of Live 03, most notably by those claiming it was too arcadey and not realistic enough, and addressed them. Live 04 had a slower pace than 03, but maintained the same level of fun and pick-up-and playability. Player animations were overhauled, resulting in a game that looked more lifelike than ever before. In order to make the game even more immersive, players had real-life shoes in the game, featuring all the major brands. The game had an NBA store where you could use in-game earned credits to buy classic jerseys, shoes, and more. The game was great and sold very well. Some people might have argued that NBA 2K or NBA Inside Drive were better games, but at the time, Live was easily the most popular NBA game. However, with competition heating up, Live had to
Mom? Dad? We have something to tell you.
You have a twin brother we never told you about.
I'm sorry.
continue pushing the envelope and innovating, because all it might take for their player base to jump ship would be one big mishap. Luckily for EA, NBA Live 05 was a classic. Even today, NBA Live 2005 is considered to be the greatest NBA Live ever made. While some people might argue for another game in the series, the overwhelming consensus is that Live 05 was the peak of the series. Live 05 added the All-Star Weekend, with the dunk contest, three-point shootout, and actual All-Star game. Franchise mode got major upgrades now labeled Dynasty mode, and the gameplay took steps forward as well, resulting in one of the greatest basketball games of all time. The game wasn't perfect, but it was really good. But then, after the release of Live 05, something happened. In late 2004, EA and the NFL signed an exclusive rights agreement, meaning EA was the only company allowed to make NFL games. This essentially killed off NFL 2K, shifting 2K's focus almost exclusively towards their NBA game. Electronic Arts now had the pressure of making the exclusive NFL game, as well as FIFA, MVP Baseball, NASCAR, NHL, and of course NBA Live. 2K, on the other hand, only had to focus on their baseball, hockey, and basketball games, with almost their entire dev team being dedicated to NBA 2K. With NFL 2K out of the picture, NBA 2K, already a great series on the rise, was only going to get better, while NBA Live was going to get less attention. With a new console generation coming, NBA Live's future wasn't looking great. Not only that, but 2K had released all their sports games at just $20 that year, so the player base of NBA 2K rose exponentially. The pressure was on EA. NBA Live 06 released on the Xbox 360 as the first NBA Live game on the next generation of consoles. However, NBA Live 06 was bad. While 06 was pretty good on the previous generation of consoles, it was clear what direction the series was heading towards. I made a video on Madden 06's development and how the game was awful on 360 but great on PS2. The same can be said for NBA Live. The only difference was that NBA Live had competition. If you sold your PS2 or Xbox 4 and Xbox 360 and you got NBA Live 06, you would have been incredibly disappointed, and you likely would have jumped ship and bought NBA 2K6. NBA 2K6 released on the 360 as well.
Facts, I peep. I like that Spider-Man costume. That shit is heat. I fuck with that one. I'm trying to... I don't know how to get the... how to put the fucking Twitch rewards. I did the Twitch shit yesterday, but
this nigga is the most fun character in this game.
That nigga's cool. He just got a fucking... he got a skill balance that's like... it's fucking... it's difficult.
You gotta link her Twitch in the game.
I did. I don't...
yeah, I figured it out.
Yeah, he just like Wolverine. Like, I love Wolverine, and that nigga's difficult for me. This nigga Jay, he loves Hulk, but that nigga's difficult for him. You feel me? That's why I just be rocking with the medics, cause As you can see, we played like 2 or 3 games. Nobody chose a medic.
They show you how to play. I can show both y'all niggas how to play the
Yeah, I'm gonna start working more. I wanna use Wolverine more, but
nigga, I can literally show you how to play that.
alright, but
Wait.
wait,
Go to the practice range real quick.
where do I go for the I don't think I'm on it. I think you on it. You the leader.
No, you have to join too.
Oh, I see. Practice range. Alright.
So people get pick Wolverine.
I'm the best there is at what I do. And what I do isn't very nice. I'm ready, bub.
This
Put me
nigga's
in.
whole shit is Wolverine isn't a normal DPS. He's not like a DPS that goes after healers or goes after other DPS. He's a tank buster. So Wolverine's goal is to kill tanks first and then kill everybody else because his passive is he does more damage to heroes with higher health scales.
Alright.
So boom. For example, you see how I'm not Wolverine, right? For example, like let's say Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, ready to fight. Got eyes on some bogeys.
See how long that shit took to kill that nigga?
Yeah.
Now watch.
Your boy Logan is ready for action. You're mine. That's right. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, faster.
This nigga, his goal is like literally attacking and kidnapping tanks, right? So let's say your back is where your team is, and we're pushing forward this way, right?
Yeah.
This nigga Wolverine will like, let's say you can get around behind niggas or some shit, like there's something like an overhead thing that you can walk on or you can get behind niggas. Wolverine will hit niggas with this shit.
You're mine.
Pull a nigga back towards the team and then just fuck him up.
Got eyes on some
Alright.
fury. You're out of
And what's that grab feature? I gotta be behind you, right?
I mean, you can even do it in front and turn around or some shit, but you gotta be quick with it. Like, look.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Endless fury. That was embarrassing. Endless fury.
And you just press the R1, I mean the R2. Whoa, you got a different John.
Yeah, my shit is different. I mean, well, I haven't revamped shit on Wolverine, so my shit on Wolverine is just like left bumper.
Yeah, I was about to say that you when you attack regular, that's all basic. That's all basic.
Embarrassing.
All of this, yeah.
All right, that's all basic. All right, copy.
It says you get increased.
Look who just showed up.
After you died and grab a nigga, you get increased like attack speed. So Pete, like this is the normal shit.
Yeah.
You're mine.
Yeah, that's tough.
And then his other shit is just like the dash, like you do that.
Yeah.
And his third shit is that shit you give like reduced damage type shit. Unleash your fears how to briefly reduce incoming damage. So let's say you dive in a nigga, you wanna maybe howl before you go die.
Let's do this. No look back. You're out of your league.
Because that way, let's say if their team is trying to focus you because you just kidnapped their fucking tank, you're taking less damage versus going in there like blind.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
And that Howl shit is the R1, right? Yeah.
Showed up. I'd stay down
Alright,
if I
bet.
were you.
And then you got the fucking ult, which you can hit multiple niggas in. So let's say the team is around the tank and you dive, you can ult and catch like 5 niggas and then body the fucking whole team. If niggas are really grouped up together, you can
Yeah.
body bad niggas.
And
So, like,
the O is my ultimate, right?
Berserker! Rage!
that's that shit. Hold on.
Don't hold it back. I'd stay down if I were you. You're mine. Berserker! Rage!
It's some Marvel's Capcom shit.
Wasn't very nice, was it? Berserker! Rage! Here come our next victims.
My thing is, like, I'm knocking this nigga up. It's not doing the second part. Because it's supposed to knock him up and then, like...
Yeah, I figured, nigga. I figured. This shit just stopping mid-air. Yeah, you got it. You had to time that shit.
Berserker! Rage! Wasn't very nice, was it? Berserker! Rage!
That's fire.
Like, this nigga can short things, right? Like, you can just switch up the combination of how you want to use for the most part. But, like, that's his goal. His goal is to kill tanks first, and then kill You gotta look down. That was the problem. You gotta knock him up, and then look down at the
Look who just showed
Look down.
Like, below y'all. Yeah. And then come first.
Alright, copy.
That's essentially how Wolverine plays. He lurks, he tries to catch tanks off guard,
You're mine.
so the team tank plus the character.
Even I'm impressed.
Yeah, I fuck with it. I fuck with it.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Know what?
Nah, cause you said you and Jim couldn't know how to play 2 different movies.
Yeah, this nigga wanted, I think he's working on Captain America right now, if I'm not mistaken. He should be on soon.
Yoo-hoo! Spider-Man over here. It's Spider-Man though, that nigga's smart. He's just smart as fuck. His skill gap is crazy.
Nigga, yeah, bruh. His skill gap is fucking ridiculous, nigga. Like, real life, nigga. Like,
Nigga, I could one-shot tanks. I mean, one-shot any BBS like 250, 275 dollars. Nigga, be.
My dad built Spider for himself, but I feel like I was born to pilot it. That's some vintage Spider style.
Nah, I'm using this shit, but I was just beating niggas' ass online.
yeah.
Went down pretty hard.
That's some vintage Spider style.
I like it because the fighting the fighting animations is like some real
Watch out, they're headed our way.
superhero shit. You feel me? It's something that these niggas would do in a separate video game or in their universe. You feel me? Like, we've seen Spider-Man do that double fist down shit plenty of times.
Stay down.
Time for some fireworks. That's some vintage Spider style.
Yeah, that's fire.
Fight for the good guys next time.
A lot of fighters.
true warrior is not defined by strength.
Do it again. My fault. Switching characters. Yeah. Oh yeah. What's that? What's that Venom shit? All Spider-Man got that?
The symbiote Spider-Man returns.
Huh, nigga? How you got that? But how? All Spider-Man have that? Or is it just you did something to get that?
I bring the hammer down.
A person just have to play Venom in the game when you're playing Spider-Man.
I don't think I got that.
Awaken the rain.
It's out there, headed our way. Doing the right thing just makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Oh, that's fire. I got it. This shit? Yeah, it's heavy. I like it because the red, that red is fire. Like, yeah, they went crazy. Yeah. Supposedly we supposed to be getting the that other nigga the PlayStation the Insomniac Spider-Man suit. Yeah, supposedly. I don't know if it's for everybody or just PlayStation niggas. But I definitely seen that leak on Reddit. That's tough. That's tough. The nigga with the dreads?
He's sure those are bad guys.
Yeah, but he doesn't look like he has the dress. He looks like he has a hat, a mask, with like spikes, like a mohawk, like spikes on the mask.
Oh, he's wearing the mask. They don't have him without the mask. That'll still be fire. Spider-Punk, he was good.
Yeah. I hate this part.
Alright, that's fire. Yeah, I'm about to put on my headphones because this weak ass mic, I can't hear shit. I gotta put this shit by my ear. Alright, this is way better. You can switch. Where do I take that off at? I gotta scroll down. Yeah. Oh, hero automatic swing. Got you right here. Off. Alright, bet. Alright, I like that one. PS2 shit. I like that. How I do that? The swing shit where I let it go. It's already there, or I gotta do it? Hold to swing. Got you right there. Yep. Hold to swing. Got it. Alright, but I bet. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, swing, get lows. Yeah. Hold on, let me back out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Alright. Yeah, yeah, facts, facts. And what was that? That was the R1. Was that R1? Oh, that was a regular whip. No. R1, R1. Yeah, I want to try it, nigga. Well, I gotta do the flip. After I flip, what I do? Uh-huh. Alright. Alright, get this bitch out the way. You good? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just wanna... I did it. I just did it. Combo, cancellation, combo. I bet. I'm leaving the John now. I bet. But yeah, I got you. Just send it when you good. Oh shit. Fucking tired.
While the game wasn't anything crazy, 2K was able to port over most of their game from the previous generation of consoles and build upon that foundation, while Live started completely fresh. This was the first year that NBA 2K was objectively better than NBA Live. NBA Live 06 was pretty, as the HD graphics looked great at the time, but that's about all the game had going for it. Frame rate issues, awkward animations, and many features were just lost. After years of upgrading and innovating the franchise mode, it was completely dropped in the next-gen version of Live 06. It was still in the previous gen version and still very good, but it was only a matter of time before EA stopped developing for the older systems. Live 06 was a sign of things to come, and the beginning of the end for NBA Live's reign of success. Unfortunately for NBA Live fans, Live 07 was somehow even worse. Expectations were high, as NBA Live 05 was great, and after a down year with Live 06, the series had to improve, right? The graphics look great on next gen, so all they had to do was improve the gameplay, somehow. NBA Live 07 was not only a bad game on 360 and PS3, but it was also a bad game on the PS2. How did they mess that up? Live 07 brought back the franchise mode as well as other requested features such as the dunk contest.
Yeah, I'm locked in. Set it off when you good.
PS2 version. The dunks were identical, the exact same animations with no change. Gameplay was neglected despite being the biggest issue with 06, and even got worse in some areas. This was the game that showed live players that EA didn't care about their once beloved basketball franchise. The franchise that helped build EA Sports from the ground up back in 1989 was now pushed to the back burner. And for what? Madden and FIFA weren't even good games on the next-gen consoles at this point in time. It was a kick to the stomach. Of course, 2K continued to push the envelope and took on...
I only use Mantis. Nigga, listen to me. Listen. I only use Mantis when I'm playing with other niggas, because other niggas do not use medics. You feel me? So I literally have to use a medic. You feel me? But when I'm by myself, nigga, I rock with whoever. I honestly be doing the challenges. That's why I be doing the challenges. I got a couple niggas I'm good with. You feel me? I got a couple niggas I'm good with. I'm good with Winter. I'm good with Punisher. I'm good with Star-Lord. I'm good with Rocket. I'm good with Squirrel. I'm Penny. I like Penny. I use a little bit of everybody, but I be doing the challenges and shit. I be doing the challenges, so like I don't really have like a main nigga. You feel me? I'm lying because my main nigga is really Mantis. What? Nigga said back to Mantis. You don't learn.
Love Eyes? Hold up.
Role that formerly belonged to NBA Live. Live sales were dropping, but the game was still selling well based on name recognition. EA shifted their focus towards maintaining those numbers rather than producing an actual good game. Instead of fixing the core issues of NBA Live, EA tried to add cool back-the-box features to help advertise the game. Sound familiar? NBA 2K was quickly becoming the NBA game of choice for players and critics. NBA Live 08 and 09 were better, but still not anything great or even good, while NBA 2K kept improving and was becoming a fantastic series. It was clear that while EA was trying to beat 2K in sales through marketing, 2K was simply focused on making the best basketball game they could. The people in charge of 2K were making the game from a place of love for the sport, while EA seemed like they didn't care about anything but numbers. In 2009, something amazing happened for EA. Mike Wang, a former 2K employee who was one of the main reasons NBA 2K was taking off, left 2K to join EA and help develop NBA Live 10. On why Wang left 2K, he said, "I was looking at where NBA Live was, and I felt like they were behind us in a lot of ways. I was also looking at my own team and thinking, there's some things I wish we could do differently. We could be different in some ways. My twisted thinking was, if I could go to EA and I could shore up gameplay, then maybe there'd be this really heated rivalry between 2K and Live again, and it would push the basketball genre forward." Wang was clearly a difference maker. NBA Live 10 was actually really good. No longer could you hold sprint and dunk every possession. AI was vastly improved, animations were improved, presentation was improved, and the game was a huge success. The Live versus 2K debate was real. A notable addition to Live 10 was the dynamic DNA features, which allowed players to play NBA games throughout the season with real player stats, lineups, and more, immersing players into the NBA season. Mike Wang was the hero NBA Live fans deserved, and he was here to stay. The future of NBA Live was looking up, and there was now fierce competition between NBA Live and 2K. This is the part where I tell you that NBA Live 10 was the last NBA Live game until Live 14. Mike Wang left EA right after the release of NBA Live 10, and he went back to 2K. This was huge news at the time, almost as big as a major coach leaving his new team for his former team. 2K fans were delighted by the news, while Live fans were not happy to say the least. However, NBA Live 10 was pretty good, so how badly could EA mess this up? Really badly, it turns out. It's almost impressive how badly EA screwed up. They killed NBA Live. They killed it. They decided to change the name of NBA Live 11 to NBA Elite 11 and screwed up so bad that they thought it would be smarter to go right back to NBA Live for next year. What exactly
Good save.
happened?
Whoever did that, good save.
Mike Wang left, went back to 2K, and helped them create arguably the greatest NBA game ever made, NBA 2K11. EA now had the pressure of trying to improve upon their first good game in a while, Live 10, without Mike Wang. Instead of building upon what Wang created and gradually improving like 2K had been since the Dreamcast, EA did what EA always does and decided to throw away what worked and try something brand new from scratch.
Yeah, man. Like, come on, bro. Yeah, my nigga. Him and Wanda, nigga. Fucking suicide bombers, nigga. I'm flanking right. I'm going around the steps. Oh shit. Right here, right on time, bitch. Go to sleep, nigga. Go to sleep. Pissing me off. Okay. One hit, one hit, one hit. I don't see nobody. I think they all at base. I don't know. I'm a flank left for shits and giggles. Yeah, I peeped it. Yo, luckily I caught that flank. I'm gonna sweep to their home. I'm gonna just see what's good. I hit footies. I'm scared. I'm running back. GG's. Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning.
First, the name change. Longtime NBA Live fans were unhappy. What was wrong with the name Live? It was iconic. And why did Mike Wang leave? What is EA doing? The name change wasn't even close to the worst part of all of this. They completely redesigned the controls. Gone were the days of pressing buttons to pass or shoot. Now everything was analog, sticks, triggers. How do you even do anything in this game? Passing the ball, shooting the ball. Normally easy things became tedious and impossible for new players. The game released a demo for people to try before release, and it became infamous. One YouTuber named Mr. Lux released a video of a glitch where Andrew Bynum T-poses at center court. It was labeled the Bynum Jesus.
Stay down.
I'll make sure your cute girlfriend will be screaming my name tonight. Quinn hurt all over, but he picked himself up and faced the 7-foot-tall Troy. To many, Troy was the handsome star superhero of the academy. To Quinn, he was his worst nightmare. Where is Jennifer?
Glitch. Another glitch had Luol Deng draining any shot from a certain part of the court. Besides that, the game was a complete mess, so much so that EA didn't even release it. It was delayed and then canceled. Live 10 got roster updates instead. All this, while 2K dropped their best game to date. At Live's peak, the game was fun and easy to play. Anyone could pick up a controller and start using their favorite players. Maybe that's why EA changed the name to NBA Elite, because it no longer was NBA Live. They had no idea what made Live great in the first place. It was all about marketing and had nothing to do with releasing a good basketball game. EA noticed that NBA 2K10 sold more copies than NBA Live 10, so they hit the panic button. Why build on NBA Live 10 if it didn't sell as well? We need to do something drastic. EA failed to realize that in their attempt to gain new players, they lost their core loyal player base. Those that stuck with EA through Live 06 through 09, what were thought to have been the dark ages, were punished. If 2K just released what many are calling the greatest basketball game of all time, with Michael Jordan on the cover, what am I doing here? Reading news about NBA Elite 11. I'm gonna go play that. Players jumped ship and EA just watched. Some stayed around though.
I got
When
lucky.
EA
I got
announced
so
the
lucky.
cancellation of Elite 11, these fans waited patiently for the next game, holding out hope that the franchise would soon return to its glory days. A year went by. No NBA Elite 12. NBA 2K12 dropped, however, and it was another amazing game. NBA Live fans were disappearing by the second. So of course, when it was announced that EA was working on NBA Live 13, hardcore fans of the series were excited. They brought back the name Live. EA claimed that Live 13 would focus on being an all-new experience that captures on the future of basketball. No one knew what that meant, but it sounded cool. Unfortunately, EA ended up canceling Live 13 due to the game's development being a disappointment. EA said that next year's game would have a huge focus on quality, as that would be their main goal. And just like that, it had been 3 years since the last NBA Live game. NBA 2K13 released, however, it was another great installment. And then EA actually did it. They released NBA Live 14 in 2013. Finally, NBA Live was back. NBA 2K14 was another great game, so hopefully Live 14 was too, allowing basketball fans to have 2 good competing games in the market. Unfortunately, NBA Live 14 was really bad. It was a glorified demo, a hollow shell of what was once a great franchise. Player models were atrocious. You'd be better off playing Live 10, massive clipping problems, ugly animations, nothing to do in the game, it was a mess. The Dynasty mode was so bad that you could trade Prime KD straight up for Darren Williams. In the Game Informer review of the game, writer Matt Burtz claimed that in his Dynasty mode, the Hawks won the title, led by Martell Webster. There was no logic to the game. It had a mode called Rising Star, which was EA's attempt at creating a My Player type of mode, but it was terrible. The game was as bad as everyone thought Elite 11 would have been if it released, but it was worse because EA took over 3 years to make the game. People were waiting this long, and for what? NBA Live 15 and 16 were more of the same, critically panned, and nothing worth playing. This was while 2K was in its prime, with 2K16 being another entry that many would call one of the greatest 2K games ever made. The trailers for NBA Live looked promising, and many players who loved NBA Live when they were younger were curious, hoping, wishing the series would return to being somewhat respectable. Live was cancelled yet again, with NBA Live 17 not releasing. It was pretty much over for Live at this point.
Work directly with T. Rowe Price, and together, we can find the right investments to help her potential bloom. That's the power of curiosity. Better questions, better outcomes. T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence.
Live 18 released several days before NBA 2K18, and for $20 less too. The game introduced a new career mode where you could take a player through the streets or the league, and it got much better reviews than any Live game had since Live 10. Live 19 released the next year, and it was also a good improving game. However, it was too little too late. The games weren't good enough to sway too many people over from 2K, and Live had become a meme. Their brand was tarnished. Live 18 and 19 were not bad games at all. They even do a few things better than NBA 2K does. They started innovating again, being the first game to offer the WNBA, and still the only game that lets you create female players in career mode. But overall, Live is still worse than 2K. They have the same flaws as every other sports game EA makes, and despite not being microtransaction riddled, the core game just isn't there. And even if it was, NBA Live's brand is so tarnished that it likely would never be able to beat 2K. While 2K is getting worse in many areas, Live still hasn't gotten to their level. But for the future of basketball video games and based on the direction 2K is trending, NBA Live needs to get it together. 18 and 19 have promise. And now the Live team is taking another hiatus to work on the core game. They have to come out with a good product next time around, or else it's over, if it isn't already. It's no surprise that NBA 2K is so intertwined with popular culture. The only people playing NBA Live these days are longtime fans of the series who miss what they once had and are trying to force themselves to like it. Or 2K players fed up with microtransactions, cheese, and server issues in modern 2K games. These players always go back to 2K, however, because NBA Live simply isn't real competition. While Live 18 and 19 aren't bad games at all, they're missing a lot. The gameplay, the presentation, the game modes, the attention to detail, it's all lacking. How could it not be after coming from games like Elite 11 and Live 14? 2K, despite having some major issues that recent Live games have been trying to capitalize on, is simply better at its core. Anyone who gives Live a chance will eventually realize this and go back. This might earn me a few dislikes from the extreme 2K haters of the world, or the last few NBA Live hardcore fans, but this is true. No one wants to be caught playing NBA Live, no matter how good the game might be in your eyes. I bought NBA Live 19 at launch. I gave it a shot. I didn't even buy 2K until Christmas time. NBA Live's The One mode is actually pretty good. While the career part of the mode isn't as immersive or in-depth as 2K's, the fact that you start out as a 70 overall and develop quickly is huge. The online aspect in Live is arguably better than 2K's. While there isn't a neighborhood to run around in, or your own apartment, or any of the cool flashy parts of my career, Live has easy-to-join online matches of 3v3 and 5v5 that are a ton of fun. In 2K, it can take forever to simply get into an online game and park. That's not an issue in Live. And with Live, you can develop a player really fast, meaning you won't and actually can't feel inclined to spend real money to upgrade your player enough to be competitive online. Would NBA Live be microtransaction riddled if it was the only or the top NBA game? No doubt about it. But because it's the underdog, EA is trying to capitalize on 2K's greed by offering a humble, non-pay-to-win game. In fact, if all you do in 2K is play Park, and you're getting fed up with the game, Live might actually be better for you. Unfortunately, however, switching to Live completely is nearly impossible. For one, because Live 20 was delayed, the rosters are outdated, and the game doesn't feature the current rookie class. Another important thing to understand is that no one plays Live. If a friend comes over, they will likely laugh at you if you ask them to play it with you. Because of the overwhelming popularity of 2K, it's going to be unlikely that you'll have any real-life friends that will play with you. And of course, most importantly, Live isn't as good of a basketball game as 2K is. The gameplay, while not being bad, it's not as good. Its leagues better than Live used to be, but it's not close to 2K. It does some things better, but it's not better overall. Beyond gameplay, franchise mode is a joke, and we aren't even going to compare it to My League. Player models look bad, jerseys have mistakes in them, arenas don't change when you give a team city uniforms. Despite having the ESPN license, presentation is really bad. The game simply lacks attention to detail, which is something 2K has nailed year after year. If you want to see why 2K is so far ahead of Live, all you need to do is fire up a game of play now.
That said, Live 18 and 19 have proved to be big steps forward for Live. Unfortunately, they suffer from the same core issues as games like Madden, FIFA, and NHL. But Live 19 shows promise. Despite being developed by EA, the Live development team is different. They respond to feedback online. They are really trying to make a good game. They are delaying Live 20 for all the right reasons. The game is not trying to suck the money out of players' wallets, but instead convert the growing number of unhappy 2K players, and maybe even bring back the hardcore fans of NBA Live. At the end of the day, competition is ideal. We should all be rooting for NBA Live, because the better NBA Live is, the better NBA 2K will be. We got NBA 2K11 right after NBA Live 10 gave 2K some real competition. Without competition, games start to stagnate. You see it with Madden, with NHL. We need NBA Live to take the promising parts of 19, improve and expand them, and spend this time working on the core issues of the game. Maybe, just maybe, when Live returns, whenever that may be, it'll be good. We should be rooting for that. If EA releases one more bad basketball game, especially after another break, NBA Live will be dead forever.
Are you kidding me?
NBA 2K is a series of basketball sports simulation video games developed by Visual Concepts and released annually since 1999. The premise of the series is to emulate the sport of basketball, and more specifically, the NBA. Over the years, the game has had its fair share of bugs, controversies, issues, and overall interesting facts throughout its history of the last 25 years. Today I'm going to go over the 2K iceberg, which includes most of the game's interesting history throughout the years. The iceberg I'm using was made by Reddit user Rap is Good, K-Pop is Bad, so all credit goes towards him on this. Anyways, let's get right into it. Ronnie 2K. Ronnie 2K, real name Ronnie Singh, is the head of lifestyle and content marketing of 2K Games and the face of the company. Back in the days of about 2K14 to 20, the community used to blame him for the franchise's many issues, bugs, and problems throughout the history. People slowly started to realize that he had no control over anything that was happening with the game's development, and he received less hate and backlash. He also appeared in the game with his own My Team card in 2K23. Microtransactions. This refers to the microtransactions that 2K has introduced throughout the years. Back in the older days of 2K, the only microtransaction was VC, and you really didn't need it for progression as long as you played the game for a significant amount of time. In 2K24, they decided to add a battle pass that you needed to pay for in order to get certain rewards, and not only that, but you can now purchase MT in order to progress further in My Team. Also, in my career, it is now significantly more difficult and time-consuming to grind for player upgrades unless you were to buy VC. Mike Wang. Mike Wang is the gameplay director and the most popular developer part of NBA 2K. Throughout the last couple of years, he has started to receive a lot more hate and backlash due to the franchise's issues and bugs, and he is known for acknowledging issues in the game that never seem to get fixed. My Team. My Team is one of the most popular game modes in NBA 2K. This mode consists of the player building a team that includes current and historic NBA players with variants of cards that highlight iconic and legendary career moments. My Team is mostly known for its pack pulling, where players would buy packs with 5 randomized items such as coaches, balls, courts, etc., with one player inside, and a chance to pull something like a pink diamond or a galaxy opal. This trend was made popular by 2K YouTubers back in the early to mid 2010s. The mode was introduced in NBA 2K13 and still continues to be one of the most popular modes in the most recent installment. My Career. My Career is arguably the most iconic and popular game mode in the entirety of 2K history. The mode consists of a player creating as my player in order to play through the NBA, making your own history and creating as much impact as possible throughout your career. The mode usually consists of a storyline throughout your rookie year, varying from creating a duo with a new teammate or having a rivalry with an old player you faced in college. The most popular inclusion of My Career is the My Park, where online players can face each other on 2v2 and 3v3 courts with their created character in order to gain rewards and rep. 2K YouTubers. This refers to the online personalities that were made popular from their videos and content based on NBA 2K, most notable being Jester the Laser, Cash Nasty Gaming, Los Polos TV, Agent 00, Troy Dan, and many others. This has led to a gain in the popularity not only for the game but also influencers in general. Many YouTubers got so popular due to their influence on the franchise that they were given the opportunity to create videos with NBA stars and have access to special 2K and NBA events. While 2K has had its good side of YouTube, there has also been many controversies involved, such as multiple members leaving the popular group 2Hype throughout the years due to allegations of mistreatment. 2K Playgrounds. 2K Playgrounds is a basketball game released on May 9th, 2017 for the Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. The game was an NBA Jam and NBA Streets type game, including multiple game modes such as Tournament, Online, and Exhibition. All of these game modes required the player to pick 3 superstars to face on a blacktop court. Unlike the NBA 2K series, this game was meant to be more unrealistic and action-based. A year later, on October 16, 2018, NBA Playgrounds 2 was released. It was basically the same game, but with better AIs to make the graphics better. The series never took off or gained popularity, so it was never continued after that. 2K Community. The 2K community is the community surrounded around players who play NBA 2K and has been known as one of the bigger communities in gaming and sports. While this community is big and has a lot of players, it is also known to be one of the most toxic and unfriendly communities in gaming. People have been known to relentlessly trash talk to their online opponents, leading into blowout arguments and chaos.
Get on my level, bitch. Bye. Don't wait a lot for the hour. You're my bitch. You're my bitch. I will get all your moms pregnant this weekend. I will get all 3 of your moms pregnant this weekend.
The 2K community also seems to have an imbalance of player-based skill due to a lot of players buying their way up to a higher overall, leading to other players getting upset over their opponents. Curry Slide. The Curry Slide is one of the most popular moves not only in NBA 2K, but in basketball in general. The name has originated from a move that is commonly used by superstar Stephen Curry in order to shake his opponents off defense and get an open shot. In NBA 2K, it is considered one of the most broken moves in the game because when a player uses it, it can get them an open shot and a speed boost, leading to a scoring advantage. While it can be extremely difficult to defend, it can also become predictable if used too much and can become easy to counter against the right player. 2K International Covers. The game cover of NBA 2K is one of the most anticipated part of each release because fans get to see which player has had the honor of making it onto the game's cover art for the year. In the past, 2K has made covers for specific countries with players from those countries, examples being 2K16 having Dennis Schroeder for the German edition, Danilo Gallinari for 2K17 Italy edition, DeMar DeRozan for 2K18 Canadian edition, Ben Simmons for 2K19 Australian edition, and a few others. Playable celebrities. Back in NBA 2K13, 2K had introduced a feature into the Play Now game mode with the celebrity teams from the All-Star game. The roster included celebrities like Justin Bieber, Sean Kingston, Meek Mill, and many others. Playable celebrities have never returned to 2K Play Now, and it is speculated it's due to the fact it was a huge blow to the game's budget for more important features. Some playable celebrities have returned in my team with playable cards like Quavo, Jack Harlow, and J. Cole. Rookie Showcase. Rookie Showcase was a feature in the game mode My Career that was introduced to the game in 2K12 and only lasted until 2K14. This was a part of the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of the game where the player would have to showcase his skill in order to determine his placement in the draft for the game. It is unknown to why this feature was removed in later games, but is mostly speculated due to the fact that they included more advanced and better methods in later installments of the franchise. No demo for 2K22. Every single year from 2K11 to 2K21, there was a demo or a prelude where you could play a free demo of the upcoming 2K installment in order to get a feel for a game and to get excited of what's to come. In 2021, 2K announced that for its first time in 10 years, they would not be releasing a demo beforehand to give the players a preview, and instead the game would only be available if purchased on launch. Some players speculated it was because 2K knew the game wasn't as good as planned and was sloppy, and they didn't want players to make the decision of buying the game before it came out. The most likely reason, though, is due to the fact that since the games are now bigger and include more features such as a bigger city, the game is unfinished by the time that they would want to release a demo. Competition with NBA Live. NBA Live is another basketball video game franchise, but instead of being developed by 2K, it was developed by EA. The game was similar to 2K, but had different gameplay and visuals overall. Over the years, there were many debates which franchise was better, especially after 2K started to decline after 2K18, and NBA Live received a great reception that year. NBA Live 19 was the last installment to the franchise, and EA announced that NBA Live 20 was being canceled due to them trying to expand to the newer generation of console. At the end, 2K outlived Live, even if 2K was on the huge decline at the time. Injuries. In various 2K game modes, there are realistic moments where one of your players or teammates can receive an injury that will put them out of the game. The injury can range from very minor to career-threatening, and it has become popular due to some of the injuries that have been listed for players. Some players have seen injuries such as helping their grandpa travel through space and time, injuring their finger while opening a pistachio, and even things as crazy as being framed for murder of the player's wife. Nobody knows why these injuries can be so absurd, but it's most likely a satirical joke on 2K's side just trying to give the player a laugh. Shaq's face scan. Over the years with technology improving, 2K has implemented face scanning into their games. This has made it where they could scan an NBA player's face and get a realistic looking image of them in the video game. Shaquille O'Neal has one of the most popular due to his face scan in 2K24 looking weird for players, to some saying that his face scan was meant for an older game. Nobody knows why he looks so weird compared to other superstars in the game, but it has caused controversy throughout the community, with players questioning if 2K is even putting effort into their games anymore. Charles Barkley and Reggie Miller. Charles Barkley and Reggie Miller are both historical NBA legends and Hall of Famers who have created a legacy and name for themselves throughout the years, not only as NBA players but as sports commentators as well. Neither have appeared in any 2K installments for any historical team they played on, and only one of them have ever had one My Team card. Charles Barkley commented in an interview that he refused to let 2K put him in the game due to them not paying retired players the amount he believed they deserve for appearing in the game.
That's a great question. I'm asked that question a lot. So, they pay those guys to do it. And they make $300 million a year. And they pay the guys chump change. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I says, this is what I'll do. Because, just giving me some money doesn't help anybody. I said, give the old retired players $1 million, and I'll be in the video game. They're like, well, we're going to pay you the same thing we pay others. I says, I'm not like the others. Like these other guys, I don't even know why they taking that money, because y'all make $300 million a year. Y'all not helping the old retired players.
Although he has said this, he did appear in NBA 2K17 with a pink diamond My Team card for the 92 Dream Team collection. It is unknown to why this is his only appearance, but it is unlikely we will ever see him or Reggie Miller appear in 2K again. Overpowered players. Overpowered players refers to the certain players in 2K games from past or present that were insanely overpowered for no reason whatsoever. It wasn't superstars like LeBron James or Kevin Durant, but it was random role players who seemed to play better in the video game than their real-life counterparts did. Some of these players include Rudy Gay from 2K11, Zach LaVine from 2K15, and the weirdest I found, Bill Walker from 2K12. Nobody knows why these players were so overpowered and imbalanced, but if I had to guess, it would be due to the fact that they were less advanced in development back in the older games and would leave certain players' accolades and overalls too high. Allen Iverson 5 straight covers. At the start of the 2K franchise, NBA superstar Allen Iverson was the cover for the first 5 straight installments of the franchise. This is most likely due to his insane popularity back in the early 2000s, which would cause more exposure to the game and create popularity surrounding it. This would be backed up by them including one of the most popular players from each year in the next installments, with Ben Wallace in 2K5 and Shaq for 2K6 and 7. It hasn't been done with any other players since, and it will most likely never happen again due to the growth and popularity for the franchise and basketball in general. MSG and TD not in 2K.
Oh my god,
The New York
bro.
Knicks and the Boston Celtics are two of the most popular NBA franchises, mostly due to location and reputation throughout years in the league. Players have noticed throughout the years that MSG and TD Garden haven't appeared in 2K games, and they were just labeled as the Knicks or the Celtics court. This is due to the fact that EA Sports owns the licensing for both arenas and will most likely never get the rights to 2K in order to use them. Mike Wang worked for EA. Mike Wang, the gameplay director at 2K Sports, once left 2K in 2008 to join EA Sports in order to help make the NBA Live games. In 2018, Mike came out in an interview and said this.
I don't know. I think I hit kind of a rookie wall. I had never been at any company for longer than 2 years, really up to that point. And so I was kind of in this position of like, I wonder what else is out there. And just naively thinking, actually, here's my twisted thinking.
Do it.
Twisted thinking was, I was looking at where NBA Live was. I felt like they were behind us in a lot of ways. And I was like, but also like, I was looking at my own team and like, there's some things that I wish we would do differently. I wish we could be different in some ways. And so 2K8 for me was kind of a tougher year. Because 7 was exciting for me. There was a lot of things that I was really excited that we were doing. And 2K8 was a little more of a struggle. And I was like, my twisted thinking was, if I could go to EA and I could shore up gameplay, then maybe there'd be like this really heated rivalry between 2K and Live again, and then it would push the basketball genre forward.
Ultimately returned back to 2K games in 2010 and still continues to work on the franchise till this day. Removed classic teams. Every year in every 2K game, they have included the feature of classic and historical teams where you were able to play as historical teams from the past and play now. The teams range between the 1960s to the 2010s, but throughout the years they have removed certain classic teams and the reason is unknown. Some examples of this are the 1971-72 Lakers, the 84-85 Sixers, the 70-71 Hawks, the 89-90 Hawks, and even the 07-08 Hornets made an appearance in 2K19 and then never returned again. 2K also hasn't added any new historical teams since 2K21, those being the 17-18 Warriors and the 18-19 Raptors. Zion and all-time Pelicans. Back in 2019, Zion Williamson was drafted first overall in the NBA draft to the New Orleans Pelicans. He was one of the most anticipated and hyped up athletes coming into the league, and everyone knew he was going to be going number one no matter what. In NBA 2K20, before his rookie year even started, he made an appearance on the Pelicans' all-time roster alongside players like Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, Baron Davis, etc. People were curious to why they would include him into the all-time roster before you even play a game in the NBA. He ended up tearing his meniscus during the 2019-20 season and never got a chance to show off his full potential his rookie year. I believe that he was put onto the Pelicans' all-time roster just simply due to the lack of superstar talent the franchise has had throughout its history. The all-time also includes players like Lonzo Ball, Eric Gordon, Julius Randle, Tyson Chandler, which all of them you wouldn't expect to see on an all-time roster. Controversy. This could refer to dozens of things since 2K is known for having its fair share of controversy, but I think this refers to the case of Hayden versus 2K Games. Back in 2017, tattoo artist James Hayden filed a lawsuit over 2K's realistic portrayal of his tattoo designs on NBA players. The lawsuit didn't reach a verdict until 7 years later in April of 2024, where the jury reached a verdict in favor of 2K Games, claiming that the company had an implied license to use the images. Hayden also failed to disclose that 4 of his 6 tattoos included in the lawsuit were already pre-existing art that didn't qualify for original copyright. The 2K curse. The 2K curse refers to the superstition surrounding the cover athletes from each year that claims when an athlete is chosen for the cover of 2K, his season is cursed and maybe even the rest of their careers. This is backed up by evidence throughout the years of many departures and losses from the cover athletes that seem to appear in the years of those events that occur. Examples being in 2014 when LeBron was chosen for the 2K14 cover, he ended up losing the finals that same year and returned to Cleveland. In 2016, Stephen Curry was chosen as one of the cover athletes, and that same year the Warriors ended up blowing a 3-1 lead in the finals and losing to the Cleveland Cavaliers. In 2017, Paul George was chosen for the 2K17 cover, and the following year he requested a trade and ended up going to Oklahoma City. Even in 2K18, Kyrie Irving was announced to be the cover athlete, and he requested a trade from Cleveland that same summer. He ended up going to Boston and they had to change the cover art to him in a Celtics jersey. These are just a few examples of the many players who get the honor of being on the cover just to leave their current team the following season. 2K17 loading screen. In every 2K game, when you load up the game, you are greeted by a loading screen that has a picture of the cover athlete from that year. Back in 2K17, there was a popular issue/glitch where players would experience being stuck on the game's loading screen for several minutes at a time. Some players would either wait the timeout and figure out there was a glitch, or they would restart their game and try again. Weirdly enough, some players reported that uninstalling and reinstalling the game would fix the issue, and nobody knows why. Players reported that even after that, they were still experiencing the issue days later. The issue wasn't prevalent at the start of the game's life, but for some reason ended up becoming an issue around the game's update in November of 2016. Till this day, nobody knows why this was such a huge problem within the game, and it was never fixed or solved by the 2K development team. It was such a popular issue that it started to become an inside joke throughout the community. ESPN Basketball. Back in 2003, 2K had announced the release of 2K4, but instead of being called 2K4, it went by the name of ESPN Basketball. This was the first time that 2K went by a different name for its game, but not the only time because 2K5 was called ESPN NBA 2K5. This was most likely due to Sega owning the right to the 2K games at the time, and Sega also reaching agreements in 2002 with ESPN that would give them the opportunity to produce multiple sports games under ESPN like 2K and NFL games. Not even a full year later, 2K was bought out by Take-Two and they have remained with them since. Vic Van Leer. In NBA 2K16's My Career mode, you played as an NBA prospect named Freak, who is one of the most anticipated and upcoming NBA players in the storyline. There were other characters too, such as his twin sister Cece, who is also his manager, his parents Pete and Mrs. Martha, and last but not least, Freak's best friend Vic Van Leer. Vic was known as an attempted hip-hop artist and troublemaker, who was always making things harder on Freak, but at the end of the day, they were best friends and Freak loved Vic like a brother. Later in your career, during your first free agency period, after you make the decision on which team to go to, Freak and his family are celebrating his announcement when Freak receives a call from a police officer on Vic's phone, telling Freak that Vic had passed away in a car accident due to a chase.
Mr. Freak, there's been an accident. Look, we're gonna need you to come down and file legal address as soon as possible.
What kind of accident? Put Vic on the phone.
I can't do that, sir.
No, you're not hearing me. I want to talk to Vic.
Look, sir, we need you to calm down as soon as you can.
No, hey, listen. Put down the phone, and I don't want to hear it get picked up until Victor Van Leer's on the phone.
Give me the phone. Vic died in a car accident. What? He said he was watching. No. Freak, he's sorry.
This is eerie because in Vic's final scene, he had written a letter to Freak about his depression and struggle throughout life.
Freak was king. Me, big, fat, zero. She was cool up, chill. I wish she wasn't being all uptight. That girl was mad funny. I can see why you fell in love with her.
Oh, what the fuck?
She would make any man better.
Dodgeball glitch. 2K has always done events in my park ranging from cage matches to dodgeball and many others. In 2K21, Red vs. Blue Ball released on the East Coast around 4 a.m. In 2K fashion, they didn't check it at all. So if your team won instead of the top player of Red vs. Blue Ball getting a jersey in 50K, everyone who won on that team would get 50K in the jersey. But not only did the whole team get 50K, every time you won the match you got 50K. So not just a single one amount of time. Guys nearly got 1 million VC in one night. It was patched the same morning and a lot of people got their VC taken away. Most players made max bills and spent it all before it ended up happening though. Rookies in 2K12. Back in NBA 2K12, 2K had implemented a feature where you could unlock 15 previous legends from NBA history and use them in game. This would be a huge thing for the game because they never included legends or historical teams before. While this was a cool feature, 2K announced that they would be unable to add rookies to the game's launch due to licensing rights, which caused them to miss out on players like Kyrie Irving and Derek Williams. This was due to the fact that in 2011, the NBA had gone into a lockout that lasted until December due to the expiration of the 2005 NBA collective bargaining agreement. This would cause many players to miss out on the beginning of their rookie season, and many veterans to participate in pro-ams, charity events, and just pick-up leagues that lasted throughout the summer and fall. On December 8th of 2011, the NBA had reached an agreement and the season was continued after all. 2K crush on Zion. 2K obviously doesn't have a literal crush on Zion whatsoever, but the community has claimed over the last couple of years that 2K has given Zion way too much for how little he's been in the league and how little he's played. This started with 2K20 when he was announced to be in the next-gen cover athlete for the game before even playing a full season, and he was also included in the all-time Pelicans team before even playing a minute in the league. This led to fans of the games questioning why he would receive such a high honor before establishing himself as a superstar caliber player. Players of the game have also complained that he is given way too high of an overall for how little he has played and how often he is injured. In the current 2K, Zion is given an 88 overall and is considered to be a playmaking slasher. DeAndre Ayton breaking console. DeAndre Ayton is an NBA player who was drafted first overall to the Phoenix Suns in 2018 and currently plays for the Portland Trail Blazers. In 2018, a video was posted of DeAndre Ayton in college showing off a broken PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 4 controller. Ayton was saying things about how the game was awful and how they better never put him in the game because they make it easy for bums to win.
18, that's shit! Don't ever put me in that fucking game! That game is shit! I'll sue the fuck out y'all if you put me in that fucking game! The fuck?
Yo, where the controller at, bro?
That game is shit, you niggas, man! It's just for bums! Dumb ass nigga, bro! He's shit!
Yo, look at this.
16 to 17 was the best fucking game!
The video went viral not because of his rage, but because people were agreeing with him. 2K18 is still known as one of the least popular and worst 2K games to date. Even despite all of this, in 2K19 after DeAndre Ayton was drafted, he received a face scan for his appearance in the game. Predictive programming. Predictive programming is a conspiracy or idea that certain medias hide tragedies and events inside themselves before they happen, which leads to the public softening up instead of posing the idea of foreshadowed. One of the best examples of this could be the animated series The Simpsons predicting things in future years or decades before they happen. This theory for NBA 2K claims that 2K has had programming in their My League game mode where players would choose an NBA team to sim through the season and build their own roster in order to win a championship. This is backed up by the fact that My League seems to have insanely accurate predictions for upcoming seasons when you sim through them. The best example I can really think of is in 2K22 because I used to have a ton of experience with the Celtics and Nuggets winning championships left and right through the upcoming years. The last 2 seasons, those teams have won a title, which is obviously a coincidence, but it's cool to think that 2K is such an accurate AI where you could realistically predict finals winners. I've also had experiences in the past where playing my favorite team, the Cavaliers, where I'd pick certain players to join my team, such as Jarrett Allen and Donovan Mitchell, just for them to eventually join the team in real life. 2K games and Sega Sports. Back when NBA 2K first released, it was developed and produced by Sega Sports, and this was the case for about 5 years. In 2001, Sega announced that they would be discontinuing all manufacturers of the Dreamcast consoles and would instead start making third-party installments. Sega continued to manufacture 2K games until 2005, when they sold Visual Concepts and 2K games to Take-Two Interactive. This was because after the discontinuation of the Dreamcast, Sega had a really hard time selling their games on other consoles, especially after losing the license to NFL games. It wasn't worth it to them anymore, and Sega tried to team up with Take-Two, but ultimately Take-Two took full control of the franchise and even owed Sega in current day. 2K makes bad games on purpose. This theory suggests that over the last couple years or so, 2K has intentionally made their games worse and more buggy for whatever unknown reason. This could be backed up by evidence that 2K seems to acknowledge issues throughout the game but never actually seems to fix them, and in some cases they've actually become worse. This could also be backed up by the multiple forms of microtransactions that they've added to 2K24, including a Battle Pass, MT coins, and having to buy BC in order to upgrade your MyPlayer consistently. In my opinion, I don't believe 2K is intentionally making bad games, but I do believe that they are just getting lazier and lazier, and when people have already purchased the game, they don't really feel the need to improve the game any further, and they decide to see how much they could possibly get away with. Luka Doncic in 2K17. Luka Doncic is a Slovenian NBA player who was drafted 3rd overall in 2018 to the Atlanta Hawks, but eventually traded to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Trae Young. In NBA 2K17, 2 years before he was drafted into the league, he had made an appearance for Real Madrid's basketball team because 2K used to include international teams onto the rosters. Luka was only 16 years old at the time, and he was technically the youngest player in 2K roster. The only thing is, nobody knew at the time because he wasn't as popular in America and he didn't even have a face scan. In fact, he was only a 59 overall at the time. Luka went on to become the cover athlete just 5 years later, and he's now become a 95 overall in 2K24. 2K is rigged. This theory claims that in my career, 2K has rigged the game in order to make your character look bad or to cause the player of the game to purchase VC in order to upgrade attributes and certain skills on your player. This is backed up by the fact that many players claim to miss wide open dunks or layups, and they can never seem to shake a defender even if it's a random role player. There has also been evidence where your my player will pass the ball to an open teammate just for the teammate not to shoot the ball or try to get the assist, and heavily contested teammates shooting the ball when you are wide open. Players have even tested out the coding, replaying the same game over and over to see if the AI changes or if the game just seems to be any different. Players who have done this have reported to being blown out by the opposing team every time, or their teammates running the same plays over and over again. It has been proven that this is most likely done by 2K intentionally, but it also isn't a known fact. Charles Barkley in 2K13. Like I stated previously, NBA legend Charles Barkley has said in interviews that he refuses to let 2K put him into the game because he feels like they should be contributing to the Retired Players Association more than they do. In NBA 2K13, 2K included the addition of the 92 Dream Team for the first time, and Charles Barkley was included on a Play Now roster for the first and only time in 2K history. He later on received a My Team card in 2K17, but that was the only appearance he made in that game, and hasn't been in any other 2K since. Nobody knows why these were the only times Barkley made an appearance as a playable character, but it was most likely due to the fact that those were the only years that they were able to come to an agreement on a deal. Shaq was 100 overall. Shaquille O'Neal is one of, if not the most dominant center in NBA history, and back in NBA 2K2, he was the only player in the game's entire history to receive 100 overall outside of My Team. It isn't clear why he was the only player, but it's most likely due to the fact that he was the most dominant and one of the best players in the league at the time. Shaq was coming off 28.7 points, 12.7 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and 2.8 blocks per game in the 2000-2001 NBA season. He had also won MVP in the 1999-2000 NBA season, and coming into NBA 2K2, he had won back-to-back titles and back-to-back Finals MVPs. He would later go on to win another title the same year and also win the third Finals MVP in a row. Unskippable ads. Back in NBA 2K21, 2K announced that in pre-games and in 2K TV, the player would have to deal with unskippable ads you would have to watch before getting into a game. This received a lot of backlash and made a lot of players in the community furious because they believed that they shouldn't have to deal with ads in a game that they already paid $60 for. Later on in October of 2020, 2K announced that unskippable ads were unintentional in pre-games and they were only meant for 2K TV, but promised to add a fix throughout the entire game to get rid of unskippable ads in general. 2K most likely didn't implement this feature as a mistake, but instead saw the amount of backlash it created throughout the community and decided to scrap it before it got out of hand. Auction house removed. Ever since My Team was introduced to 2K games back in 2013, it has always contained an auction house feature where players had the ability to buy and sell cards of their choice for a certain price of MT. The player could either bid on the card or buy the card if given the option, but in 2K24, players have noticed that the auction house feature was removed from the game after a decade of being a staple feature in the My Team game mode. One of the biggest reasons for this removal was because players were using the market in order to buy and sell coins for real-life currency. 2K did replace the auction house with a new feature called the player market, where players were able to buy cards they wanted directly from 2K instead of other players who were selling them. This ended up ultimately causing backlash from the community, as people saw it as one of the most iconic and interesting features in the game. Hidden files. Back in 2K20, players of the PC edition of the game had figured out how to access hidden files throughout the game's directory that was only meant to be seen by development and not the public. These files included many face scans for rookies and veteran players, some that were newer, some that were updated and planned to be released in a future update of the game. They were also able to find hidden face scans of celebrities such as DaBaby, Nav, and Lil Pump. These face scans were most likely taken in order to give these celebrities their own look inside the game for when they played as their My Player, and were never meant to be released to the public in order to play them. NBA 2K League Fight. The NBA 2K League is an esports league that is funded and supported by the NBA and Take-Two Interactive. Every year, pro players of the game are drafted to certain teams in the league in order to compete in 5v5 tournaments for a certain amount of money. Back in 2019, the Hawks played the Celtics in a tournament match, and the Hawks ended up winning by 10 points. After the match had ended, Rando, a player for the Hawks, got up to shake a Celtics player's hand, who went by the name of OFAB. When Rando went to shake his hand, OFAB gave him a shoulder and then shortly after shoved Rando at full force. Nobody knows why he got so heated, but another pro player who was present said that a lot of trash talk was exchanged during the game. What most likely occurred is Rando said something after OFAB refused to shake hands, and it set OFAB off. He was later suspended for the remainder of the 2020 league season. 2K devs receiving death threats. Throughout the years of gaming, toxicity has seemed to have risen so far to the point where certain players of certain games are willing to go as far as sending death threats to the developers of those games because of their anger towards the game. The best examples of this are the Flappy Bird creator taking his game off the App Store due to the amount of threats he was receiving, and more recently, Power World's team receiving threats due to claims of being a Pokemon ripoff. This is very common throughout the 2K community though, where people have gone as far to create petitions claiming that Ronnie 2K and Mike Wang should be subjected to the death sentence, and comments saying that they deserve to be dead for ruining the franchise. Obviously this isn't okay, but the community has shown throughout the years how much they do not care, and how far they are willing to go due to the game's decline. Zens. Zens are a technological device used commonly by players in my park. The device is used to manipulate the game in order to make all of your shots, no matter how contested you are and no matter how bad of a shot it is. This is a huge issue that is common in more recent 2K games, and even when the development team has tried to attempt to patch the ability to use them in the past, it never seemed to work and the issue just seemed to get worse and worse. Eventually, in NBA 2K24, they finally figured out a patch for them, and now they no longer work in the game. Getting ejected. Throughout the history of 2K, they have been tempted to improve on the games by trying to become as realistic as possible to real-life NBA basketball. One of the most noticeable features from this is the feature of being ejected, where your player could be ejected from the game if he received a flagrant foul or committed 6 fouls in the game. Even back in 2K15 My Career, there was a feature where you were able to argue with the ref in game, which would lead to your My Player being ejected from the game, and a cool little detailed cutscene that hasn't been in the franchise since.
Punk, you can't stop me, so you gonna try to take me out? Nah, man, forget that. What? You gonna toss me? You should kick his star butt out. I ain't here to do nothing.
Malice at the Palace 2K11. Malice at the Palace is the most infamous brawl in NBA history. In 2004, during a game of the Indiana Pacers versus the Detroit Pistons, Ben Wallace had started a fight with Ron Artest that led to both benches being cleared. A fan ended up throwing a beer on Ron Artest, which caused him to jump into the stands and attack the fan. This led to a full-blown riot in the stadium with fans throwing food and drinks onto the tunnel floor, and police eventually having to interfere with the scuffle. It led to 3 suspensions, most noticeably Ron Artest, who received the longest suspension in NBA history at 86 games. I wasn't really able to find any evidence that suggests 2K11 mentions the event, but if I really had to guess, I would assume that if you choose the Pistons or the Pacers, the announcers would bring up the event and talk about it for a short period of time. This would not be unlikely due to 2K announcers having accurate stats, accolades, and history for players on the team you play as. Cheat codes. Back in older 2K games, there was a feature where you could enter cheat codes in order to unlock certain teams, merchandise, or VC. Some of the most notable are 2K China, which unlocked a 2K Chinese basketball team. Another one in the later 2K unlocked Christmas uniforms that you could use for teams that had access to them. The last game to include cheat codes was 2K13, and they instead started to include locker codes, which were codes that players could use to unlock certain cards in My Team and other features such as VC and My Career items. Auction house bots. The auction house is a feature in 2K's My Team game mode where players can list certain cards for other players to bid on immediately if given the option. This became popular throughout the years due to scavenging, where players would list lower tier cards for cheap in order to get quick MT. Players in My Team have claimed that there are bots in the auction house because while bidding, they are immediately outbid almost instantly by another player for the card. This would increase the card's price and overall gain for more profit of MT for the players selling the card. Players have also reported seeing the exact same card listed on the auction house within seconds of each other, further trying to prove that there aren't that many players who own the same cards, and it's not coincidental that they would post them within the same minutes of each other. 2K12 on PS2. NBA 2K12 was released on October 4th, 2011. It was mostly purchased and played on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 consoles, but also released for Windows, Nintendo Wii, PSP, iOS, and PlayStation 2 devices. Many players who purchased the game for PS2 complained that the game ran horribly on the console, and it was similar to older versions of 2K, and in some cases even worse. This would make sense because the end of life for PS2 came at the end of 2012, just over a year after 2K12 was released for the console. At the time, Xbox 360 and PS3 were the newer consoles, and games were being optimized for those consoles, but some were still being released to older generations of consoles and ran significantly different than current generation versions of the games. Custom shirt incident. Back in 2K18, they included many new features to the game, such as the neighborhood, the arcade, and one that fans seemed to love the most, custom clothing. This would allow players to create custom t-shirts with custom images and designs and put them online for other players to wear and use. They had removed this feature from the franchise in the future, but ultimately brought it back in 2K22. That didn't last long though, because within the first couple weeks of the game's release, players were printing inappropriate images and copyrighted logos and designs from companies that 2K had no association with. They ended up removing the feature just under a month with it being included in the game and never spoke a word about it. 2K is committing crime/sins. This theory suggests that 2K Games is committing sins in what should be a crime due to their greed and amount of features that include microtransactions throughout the game in the last few years. People have claimed that 2K is purely robbing and scamming players of their money, and even YouTuber Chris Smoove has mentioned that 2K24 was just a scam money grab, and he's been playing the franchise for longer than a decade now.
Lives like crazy. It's a marketing gimmick. It's a marketing gimmick because they want to sell the floor setters, which are supposed to hold your badges at this level. You can't go lower than that level. On the floor setter, they're trying to sell you that on the season pass. Yeah.
This is backed up by evidence in 2K24, how it's literally impossible to make any progression without spending money on PC. They count out your initial My Player 85, so you have to continue to play the game just to spend more money simply because attributes cost goes up more you upgrade them. They have also included rebirth builds, which gives you a new My Player with a bunch of badges, but you still have to upgrade their attributes in order to become a good player with that My Player. Many people have complained that for a $70 game, there should not be this many microtransactions, and that should be considered a crime what 2K does in order to require players to play better. Arms glitch in 2K12. Back in NBA 2K12, there was a popular glitch where players would experience an NBA player's arms being the opposite skin color of their normal arms or face. One of the most popular examples is when Jeremy Lin was given arms that had sleeves of tattoos on both sides and was the opposite of his normal skin tone. Nobody knows why this glitch was happening, and there really wasn't any good fix or patch for the glitch unless the player went through a process of reinstalling the roster in the game. This was mostly seen with rookies and could be speculated this happened due to lack of development on lesser known players, causing them to have a mix-up with different colored arms. 2K hates their fan base. This correlates well with the theory of 2K committing crimes, suggesting that 2K intentionally hates their fans, and that's why they continue to scam them year by year. One of the things that seems to be most prevalent with each year of 2K releases is the fact that they fail to show off gameplay each year, which is one of the biggest fan requests from the community. 2K never seems to really listen to their fans, and they always seem to disregard any concern or problem that someone reports about the game. There has also been many requests, such as playable dunk contests and three-point contests, to which 2K never adds each year. People have claimed that the company doesn't care about their fans whatsoever, and there's multiple pieces of evidence to prove it. 2K rigs pack odds for YouTubers. The final theory on this iceberg claims that 2K has rigged pack odds for YouTubers who open them on videos simply so players think the odds are good and decide to go out and buy some themselves. The reason for this is because YouTubers seem to always have the best pack odds when it comes to pulling great cards, even when players have reported those packs being horrible for opening cards. I don't believe this is true because I don't see how 2K would be able to tell who is opening their packs, regardless of player name or YouTuber name. In my opinion, I think pack odds in general are rigged because they advertise the best cards all the time just to have a negative 1% chance of getting those cards. Players have reported that the odds are reset with every pack you open, and even some YouTubers like Troydan has experienced these issues where he has spent thousands of dollars on packs for specific players just to never receive. Well, that's all I got for this iceberg. That took a really long time. That took...
Jesus, man. You kidding me, bro?
to be checking out Go Go Muffin, a brand new cozy fantasy MMO on the go. So, I was binging Game of Thrones for like the 8th time, as you do, and what stood out to me this time around was how much lore and development gets brushed under the rug. I asked myself just how many plot lines were introduced but ultimately abandoned. To answer these questions, I did what any sane person would and dedicated a few months of my life compiling a list outlining them all. If you like what you see, help the channel grow by liking, commenting, and get on it. This is every abandoned plotline in Game of Thrones.
Oh my god.
From murdering Jon Arryn to pitting the Starks against the Lannisters to killing Joffrey, without Littlefinger, there is no Game of Thrones. Something people tend to forget is that Peter Baelish wasn't just a baller, he was also very much a player with a bid for the Iron Throne as good as anyone else's.
What do you want?
Oh, everything, my dear. Everything there is.
What do you want?
Every time I'm faced with a decision, I close my eyes and see the same picture. A picture of me on the Iron Throne. And you by my side.
It's a pretty picture.
Of course, what people do remember is his groundbreaking theory of chaos equals MC ladder, but by season 6, that's out the window too, as Littlefinger subjects himself to Sansa, creating no chaos, just enjoying his place at court like the good little lady he was never meant to be.
You will marry a High Lord and rule this castle.
Now, had he at least had a whiff of the Iron Throne before seeing it snatched away from under his nose, that would have been a proper way for him to go. Not this.
Sansa, I beg you.
His disappointing end undermines a lot of the tension the show spent years building up. No less his and Olenna's plot to kill Joffrey, a secret which, if it came out, would set half the realm against him.
Together we murdered a king. If my house should fall, I will have nothing to hide.
But that didn't happen. And when Baelish dies, it doesn't leave anywhere near the sort of void other major deaths did. After their ancient purpose of protecting the realm from what lies beyond the wall is rendered obsolete, the Night's Watch is still a thing for some reason.
There's still Night's Watch.
The show even comments on this without providing answers. Why is it still a thing? What are they protecting the realm from now that the White Walkers are destroyed, the Wildlings are friends, and the Ice Spider's not a thing in the first place?
Pumpkins and snarks.
Oh yeah, can't wait for snow season 1. When it comes to the White Walker's symbol, some speculate that the circle is a heart and the line is a sword, symbolizing the sacrifice required to defeat them. Notice also how the pin of the Hand of the King and Sansa's necklace in later seasons have the same shape. Coincidence? I mean, I guess. Then we've got this spiral, the same pattern as can be seen made by the Children of the Forest, which is obviously a cool connection, seeing as the children were the ones to create the walkers in the first place. But it kind of stops there. Presumably, the symbolism is that of history repeating itself, but apart from the tragedy of Hodor, this never actually becomes significant. And we're left asking why the White Walkers would go out of their way to leave these symbols behind at all.
It's a message.
No history is ever repeated, so what was the point? Was it a
I said they almost gave us the wrong audio. We are undefeated. Nigga, we lost.
Well, either way, one cool turn of events could have been to see the eternal rivalry between the Three-Eyed Raven and the Night King come full circle somehow. Maybe by one hive mind spirit overtaking the other.
I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me.
You were exactly where you were supposed to be.
Montana 300. Shout out Montana 300, man.
Oh, me. I ain't heard bro in a minute, though.
Yeah, he still be dropping.
Yeah.
He just had us fucked up.
Bro, I forgot that whole little situation.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I just don't even remember, though.
Shout out Montana, bro. It's all love. I respect the fuck out of him, bro. He just started.
Bro, I can't remember what happened. I remember it was because his shit was fire. I remember, nigga, he was making. What the fuck was he dropping like every month? It was like what?
He was doing like the freestyle, so like
Oh my
the
fuck.
instrumentals. He was killing shit. Like
Yeah.
he was dropping, his own shit too. No, so what had happened was, so y'all wondering, it's not that we stopped. We didn't stop reacting to Montana 300. I mean, we did technically, but it's like the reason that he was trying to say on the internet was nowhere near the truth. So the fact that he was even spreading that narrative made me not want to fuck with him no more.
Bro, and like not on some real shit. Be real. I don't remember. Like I kind of forgot.
Nah, so again, shout out to Montana 300. I respect him, like, the independency, the just him as a individual.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and his my CTE tripping. But yeah, like,
Adrian, I got you, bro. Your sweatshirt, I got it in from China. China just sent everything, bro. No cap. I got you, bro. It's on the way, bro. Trust. I just got the update. My bad it took so long.
late shipment, Lou.
Yeah, on my mama, bro. Real shit. That shit took a long time, bro.
Nah, so boom. Alright, so y'all know, bro, when we first started YouTube, we was damn near a Montana 300 reaction channel. Nigga.
Nah, real shit. We was
all this shit, bro. Mind you, we wasn't making a fucking dime from reacting to his shit, okay? All them shit's getting copyrighted. We were doing it for the
so
fans.
So he was getting all the bag?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's independent, so yes, he was getting all the bag.
Okay.
I don't know his label situation.
Okay, but whatever.
The point is, we was doing it out of love. Now, mind you, Chicago at the time, like, they had a very strong, like, base on the internet. So, like, it was helping us grow, too. You feel what I'm saying? It was like, and that's why it was one point we were just reacting to just Chicago shit, bro. Like, but, so, point is, we showing Montana all this love, right? Boom. He was one of the first people to co-sign us, actually, like, publicly, like, on social media, like, shout out to these niggas, right?
Yeah.
So, boom. At one point, I'm just, thinking forward. You feel me? Like, how can we, separate from the pack? Like everybody else was doing reaction. Like, what can we add? Like, what type of, validation? How can we up the validation of what we was doing? So I'm like, okay, boom. I'm gonna start asking rappers to give us like 5 to 10 second drops.
Yeah.
Like, like some shit. Like, like a. Shout out, you're not tuned into ZSC.
Yeah, because Youngboy did that shit.
Yeah, Youngboy gave us one.
Yeah.
A few other people. So I remember I asked him, this is when he had reacted to, like, he was dropping, like, I think 5, he did like 5 freestyles and was dropping them or whatever. He dropped them at the same time or something like that. I forgot the situation. So I asked him, hey, I'm gonna read this shit verbatim.
Bro, it's crazy. I don't remember, bro. I remember like a tiny bit of it, but oh damn, it's still there, ain't it?
Boom. I said, this is November 2nd, 2017. I said, what's good, bro? Can we get like a 5 to 10 second drop from you? Thanks. He go, only if y'all do reactions to them other remixes. I was looking forward to them bitches. Remember, he dropped 5 remixes, right? We watched like 3 of them or 2 of them off camera. We was like, hold on, we gonna watch the rest on camera. You feel what I'm saying? Mind you, nigga, we've been reacting to Montana since 2016. Like, we got like
we was on them motherfuckers.
20 videos.
Yeah, we drops us, nigga. We was like, nigga.
So I'm like, we didn't already like showed each other love. I'm like, just as a favor, can I get like a 5 to 10 second drop?
Yeah.
Just for the channel, just give us some validation. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The nigga said only if y'all do. I'm like, I don't know what he meant, but I didn't receive it the right way.
But I ain't gonna lie. I think he should have said. I mean, but like you said, he probably wasn't meaning it on no shit like that, because he probably was looking like.
Remember, we did 2 reactions.
I remember, because
we dropped it.
Yeah.
Right, and I hit him after that. I said, that's when I hit him for the drop. He said, only if y'all do only if y'all do the reaction to them other remixes.
Like,
he's starting to feel entitled.
Yeah.
Am I tripping, chat?
I I mean, I think like you say.
So I sent a laughing emoji. Just I said I had listened to them other remixes off cam already. So like we're not finna just get on camera and just listen to it again. He respond, you tripping, bro? Can't be cheating.
What? Yeah, I don't get it.
What you mean, nigga? Can I get the drop or not?
I didn't get that.
You feel me?
That nigga said, huh?
So it was like, bro. After that, bro, like I didn't really know how to.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, cause
he
would have gave me where it takes too.
I didn't say my mouth though. I stopped. He said,
hey, I
said where it takes. Where it takes.
I was like, but I was like, it's the way the only if like that shit will rub you kind of wrong too. Like only if like nigga, what you mean? Like
we did to him.
Yeah, like nah, just
mind you. Again, them is getting copyright.
Yeah, like nigga ain't getting no bread for it, nothing. They ain't got no, like you say, it was growing, but it was at that point.
And
like
I done asked that nigga a couple times in the past, like, hey, bro, you sound like getting our shit whitelisted?
Nigga, like hell no, we get that dough, nigga. Yeah, we get that dough.
And he didn't like really give me the answer that like prioritize. Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
But I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, on me.
So that's kind of why like I kind of just step back. Now, okay, that wasn't even the issue. I really didn't give a fuck. Okay, it is what it is. What like had me looking at him where it was, he started doing interviews and tweeting on the timeline, on the public timeline, saying that ZSN B-Lou signed with 300, and 300 don't like him because he didn't want to sign to them, and for that reason, 300 told us to not react to him no more. I'm like, huh?
Oh, me.
Bro, for the record, me and B-Lou have never signed to 300. We have never signed to a label. Ever.
On me. Then had label talks.
There's no way y'all think a label can tell me and B-Lou. Me and B-Lou. Y'all can't react to somebody. Huh? Does that even sound believable?
Yeah, that shit sound crazy. Yeah, like niggas, like you say, man, that shit crazy, bro. But it's just like, but motherfuckers be feeling like you say, on top of the world and shit. Like nigga, because we was really doing you a favor. For real. You feel me?
And this love.
No, it was that because it was love. Because we
Come on, bro. Like I can't leave there.
That was in the
Like
remixes,
come
they was saying something
on.
like, bro, I'm fucking with it. It seemed like they was fucking with it, but it's like nigga when okay, a nigga doing what is that? A nigga doing so much for y'all, and then a nigga ask for a simple nigga, goddamn a five, nigga do a selfie, nigga any day, nigga shit, nigga get that motherfucking nigga. Shout out to my nigga ZS and Big Lou, nigga. You hear me?
Easy,
man. Niggas wanna play.
Niggas couldn't even get that.
Man, that should be crazy, bro. And then, like you say, it ain't like a nigga ain't make you no money.
Come on, bro. I'm home by myself, man.
We live on Twitch, on Blue Channel. Was you A&R at one point on my trip? And yeah, I had a joint venture deal with 300. Like they gave me my own label to sign artists, but that didn't pan out because the artists I would bring them, how do I say this without
what, they think they was ass or something? Like
no, it's not even that at all. No, it's artists that I would bring them that they would turn down, they end up blowing up. I ain't gonna say no name.
But you saying like they didn't trust.
Point is, yeah, I thought y'all was entrusting me as
to go get out, to go get
that.
But y'all really was just kind of like screwing with you.
It's like, yeah, I didn't have the power that I thought I did.
Yeah. Y'all played.
Like nigga, if I don't have that power with them, like with my decisions, I know for a damn fact, like whatever artist I fucked around and do end up signing, I wasn't going to even have the power to, you know, make sure they straight.
Yeah, because y'all already playing around
Y'all
right
playing
now.
with me.
Yeah, so how the fuck if y'all playing with me, y'all damn sure gonna play with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's looking at me crazy because I'm like, bro, I gotta talk to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But shout out 300 though. It's always been love. It just it didn't the joint.
Like you said, just didn't work out.
Didn't
Yeah.
work out.
I mean, sometimes it be like that.
Welcome to Top Girl.
Around early 2023, superstar Pride was on the brink of a promising career. With his solid bars and a haircut that gathered millions of impressions, he was on track to becoming a legit player in the rap game.
I'm trying to get past this ugly ass haircut, but this is spitting. Every line, this is going crazy.
But his rise came crashing down, and in just 6 short months, he went from spitting bars to being locked behind them. It's your boy Luesta, and this is how a viral TikTok rapper became a murderer. This crazy story begins in Sardis, Mississippi, where a young Radius Pride always wanted to be a star. Living in such a challenging and divided community, Pride, as a rapper, was defying the typical life path expected for youth in that area. At the mere age of 13, Pride was laying down tracks on his iPhone and recording music using his tablet. Although he began attending college, music was always his plan A, with plan B being to secure a position as a G League basketball player. However, when that didn't work out, Pride would find himself at his uncle's repair shop, modding cars for $20 an hour.
Like, what was your job?
Man, my uncle got a car job, he built motors.
So you were like a mechanic?
Yeah.
While it wasn't anything groundbreaking, this was when Pride truly developed a passion for rapping and making music, consistently dropping new tracks on an independent grind as he honed his skills and refined his craft. In interviews, Pride said his biggest inspirations were 50 Cent and Yo Gotti, Sting. Those were the guys I wanted to be. Like, I knew I could do what they were doing. I grinded to the point that I could do what they're doing. I could be on their level. I just wanted to be their little man. Yo Gotti was the only access. He was actually hands-on with handing out his CDs. We never could get access to technology and the music. However, while the rappers he aspired to be were able to build thriving careers, Pride's journey took a drastically different turn. And it just so happened to be around the same exact moment that he finally found the blueprint for success. On October 16th, 2022, superstar Pride would drop his first EP titled 5 Pounds of Pressure, a project he describes as deeply personal and reflective of his life experiences. I knew I had 5 pounds of pressure because it takes 5 pounds of pressure to pull a trigger. I seen that I had 5 pounds of pressure at the age of 7, and that's when a lot of my life changed. I just took that stage of my life, and I'm telling my story. What started as a project that received little to no attention and was largely overlooked would eventually take a dramatic turn when Pride tapped into the modern formula for music success. After posting a TikTok performing painting pictures from the EP, the song took off. And it was here where he took his career to a whole new level, bringing a sense of pride that truly matched his name.
Don't worry, you raised a gangster. I'm a survivor. It hurt me not being able.
This song was a viral sensation, gaining millions of views almost instantly.
So I posted that early. By noon, it was at like 2.2 million.
The track was popping off thanks to Pride's hard-hitting flow, the thoughtful lyrics, and of course, because of his goofy-ass haircut. In fact, people found it so goofy that they made memes about it all over the internet.
Don't worry, you raised a gangster. I'm a survivor. It hurt me.
When asked about why he went with that specific haircut, he said it was all thanks to his uncle, stating,
Cause he told me he was off to give you a superstar haircut. He was like, I want you to have your own haircut.
Yeah.
He like, you a superstar already, but I just want you to have your own haircut.
That's hard.
In interviews, he expressed that he believed in the song, and that it already had the potential to go viral when he completed it.
It was the fastest song I ever wrote. After that song, I stopped really worrying about life. I wanted to do everything I could with that junk, cause if that junk didn't do it, nothing was gonna do it.
Although Painting Pictures of Success was almost destroyed when it was pulled from streaming services, which was supposedly due to an uncleared Faith Evans sample, Superstar Pride went through hell and back to get the track re-uploaded days later. The process of getting that cleared was crazy. It kinda disappointed me that it was even taken down. For the record to even come down was kinda harsh, but to go back up and get it put back was respect. I was thankful for it being put back up on platform. Going about getting that track cleared was not easy. Well, the joint did it. He landed a contract with United Masters, and the song quickly became available on streaming platforms, peaking at number 25 on the Hot 100, and even went on to become gold certified. After following this up with another banger titled No Gun, No Knife, Pride would be able to quit his car modding job and would set his sights on making his dream into a reality.
I was like, fuck that shit. I'm gonna just get in the music. I'm gonna stay in Mississippi and work in the shop. I was like, shit, I'm gonna just get in the music.
And it genuinely looked like he had a bright, long future ahead of him because he seemed like a real solid dude as opposed to all these corny rappers that tend to surface. To many, his music felt like a breath of fresh air, and his flow was exactly what was gonna cement him as one of the greatest up-and-coming rappers of 2023.
And 2023, we kind of feel like it's gonna be somebody like new to take over. And I know this is a big weight I'm putting on Superstar's shoulders, man. But if bro can continue this momentum from this song right here and just keep dropping, don't try to make the same song over and over. Just keep dropping. Show your versatility. Stay on their neck, bro. He could really be one of the ones for 2023. I ain't gonna cap.
But in an incident that nobody ever saw coming, Superstar Pride would destroy all his chances at becoming the hit that he wanted to be. And sadly, he would go on to make a decision that would ruin his life for the foreseeable future.
Quiet, I be thinking about killing.
On July 19th, 2023, the Panola Police Department reported the murder of 40-year-old Marcus Wheatley, who happened to be Superstar Pride's barber. This incident was a tragedy, but unfortunately, the Panola Police Department reported the murder of 40-year-old Marcus Wheatley, who happened to be Superstar Pride's barber. This incident was a tragedy, but unfortunately, some people found it ironic because of the way he had blown up. It's the fact the whole internet was roasting his haircut and making jokes saying he needs to shoot his barber. Then he actually did it. Bro did himself a favor. He needed a new barber anyways. But all the
sustainability and data storage should be built in, not just slapped on. Yet, here we are, overloading electrical grids to underwrite AI projects. With Pure Storage, AI can power the business without overpaying for power, data, and your service. With Pure Storage.
1, 2, 3, go!
The key to being rich is knowing what counts.
Though there were tons of people making fun of the incident, it certainly raised the question, why did he actually did it? This incident was tragedy. But the Panola Police Department reported the murder of 40-year-old Marcus Wheatley, who happened to be Superstar Pride's barber. This incident was a tragedy, but unfortunately, some people found it ironic because of the way he had blown up. It's the fact the whole internet was roasting his haircut and making jokes saying he needs to shoot his barber, then he actually did it. Bro did himself a favor. He needed a new barber anyways. But although there were tons of people making fun of the incident, it certainly raised the question, why the hell would he shoot his barber in cold blood? In an interview, Marcus's grandmother, who witnessed the tragedy, recounted seeing Pride enter her grandson's mobile home. Moments later, a heated argument erupted, and while she couldn't make out the words, the tension was clear. Tragically, Marcus ran out, with Pride following close behind, firing shots.
The young man was following them, shooting at him, and he finally shot him down.
Pride fired at least 3 times after he fell, then turned the firearm on the grandma and threatened to unalive her if she pulled on him.
He fell here. He shot about 3 times after he fell, and he walked over to me, and he pointed the gun at me and asked me if I was going to tell him.
But Pride wasn't even done.
And he came back out here and fired a last shot in his head.
After all that went down, Superstar took off in his red pickup and dipped, leading to a manhunt by the police that would quickly end because he abandoned his truck and turned himself in, which is ironically a move that he predicted with this line on his viral hit. To many, this story is all too confusing. Like, what would lead Pride, who went viral across nearly every platform for his deep voice and raw, heartfelt lyrics, racking up tens of millions of views, building a fan base of over 100,000 Instagram followers, and solidifying his presence online, go on to murder someone in cold blood in front of their own grandmother, and then even threaten to kill her before eventually just turning himself in? It's just so wild. Well, nobody really knew what went down between Superstar Pride and his barber, which led to such a tragic and fateful ending. Even Pride's dad was left wondering what could have caused his son to react so violently.
You know, it's still just something that got to be looked into and to see what all transpired.
But according to the victim's grandma, Pride had asked his barber to help him with a music video shoot and he refused, which provoked a heated altercation that escalated quickly.
He wanted Marcus to follow him, and Marcus couldn't do it. He couldn't help him make more money.
But could that really be the reason? People close to Pride had nothing but good things to say about him. No records of violence, no gang ties, nothing shady. He also had a pretty stable job before his music blew up. Even Steve Stout from United Masters vouched for his character.
He was such a stand-up guy.
Some voices in the genre tried to give their 2 cents to the situation, such as OG Percy, who claimed that stories like these have become all too common for a lot of today's up-and-coming rappers.
It's always the up-and-coming rappers. Pay attention. It ain't the ones that have made it. That ain't. When you make it, you make it, but that's rare. The last one made it was Lil Wayne. Everybody else is food. I say Meek Mills, 2 Chainz, T.I. Even they gotta pay their costs when they get caught up doing what they gotta do to work the system. It's a part of the system. Niggas know what's on the contract, nigga. Body for body, nigga. You can't walk in this line about how you rap, nigga. What you talking about? You niggas ain't talking about nothing but the same thing that's killing each other. That's it. You can't name to me now rap song on the radio where a nigga ain't killing a nigga. This is what's going on with the up and coming rappers. See, when he ran up to do a job and didn't complete it. He failed the test. Sloppy with the pot. You gotta mop granny and out. You gonna tell it? That one in the handbook, nigga. Up and coming rapper.
Meanwhile, the cops introduced another twist. According to the Panola County Sheriff, Shane Phelps, just 2 days before the murder, a family member had signed paperwork to get Pride evaluated for his mental health, which was a glaring red flag. In fact, in the last song he dropped before the murder, he hinted at having some mental problems.
I've been fucked up all my life, this shit in my veins. I'm so fucked up in the head, I don't think I got a brain.
Looking back at his interview with Bootleg Kev, it's easy to observe that Pride's mind had gone through a lot of turmoil.
Before 7, I ain't seen so much in the streets. Like
Before 7?
Before 7.
Jesus.
Before 7, I probably seen more than the average 16-year-old ever seen.
Strong voices in the community would also express their compassion towards Pride and his struggles.
How he was talking and shit, you could tell he was reliving some of the moments. You could tell he was disturbed. He got trauma, you know?
Yeah, no, that nigga definitely got trauma. You can watch, if you watch that Bootleg Kev interview, you can see that shit for sure. He like just talking about going from his mama having money to not having money.
Mm-hmm.
realizing he was broken and like he was traumatized for sure.
And the fans would further comment on the situation, comparing superstar Pride to Hot Boy West, who also ended up in jail. I knew he was off in the head. It was all in his eyes and his persona. Him and Hot Boy West are slow mentally and quick-tempered. That's why the streets swallowed them up into the jail system, even though they basically beat the odds. As of December of 2024, Superstar Pride finds himself currently locked up for first-degree murder with no bond. And with no good legal representation, he is stuck awaiting trial almost indefinitely. Adding to his struggles, his label has seemingly abandoned him, leaving him to face the consequences on his own. Now behind bars, Superstar Pride is still keeping a relatively upbeat attitude while in prison. On his 22nd birthday this year, he would share an Instagram story aimed at giving what's left of his fan base some semblance of hope, saying, "Happy birthday to me. No gun, no knife, just hit 2 million views. I want to thank all my fans for rocking with me. I'll be home soon." But will he? He claimed that on his Instagram there was a court date set for September 3rd, 2023, but nothing much has been said about it ever since. So it's very hard to see him coming home anytime soon. Because let's be real, he literally went to his barber's house, chased him down with a firearm, and shot him multiple times. That's basically premeditated murder, and it's gonna be difficult for a state-assigned lawyer to prove it was self-defense since the barber wasn't even armed. But in the wild world of rap conspiracies, who knows where the story could go?
George, can you turn the music off?
Do you remember Jumper? It's the 2008 sci-fi action film starring Hayden Christensen, who plays a young man capable of teleporting, who is being hunted by a secret society intent on killing him.